Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Hazel Lucia Tarot. I am your tarot reader Stephanie, and today's reading is about what is coming up next in this connection in your relationship. Whatever you have going on between you and your person, we're going to see what is going to happen next. We have 4 piles here for you today, and of course, like I said, it doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It could be a situationship. It could be a little flirty something with you and somebody else, if you're wondering. It could even be between you and a crush, if you feel like that might go somewhere. We have 4 piles here for you today. Pile 1, we have the rose quartz tower. Pile 2, we have orange calcite heart. Pile 3, we have an agate moon, and pile 4, we have a selenite heart. So take a few deep breaths, think about you, your connection, your person, and I'll be ready for your reading whenever you are. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the rose quartz tower, then we have a reading here for you about what is coming up next between you and your person, what's going on next in this connection. We're going to start with the oracles, and this will be the vibe check to see if this is truly you and your person, and if this connection sounds like whatever it is that is going on now. So let's start with these connecting cards, and then we're going to draw your individual cards. So we have the Star. We have the Audacity. We have reconciliation. This card stands for reconciliation and forgiveness. Someone may feel very sorry for their actions and wants to apologize, or perhaps you are in this situation. It may also be important to forgive in order to move on. We have tranquility. And humpback whale, singer. Sing healing songs for the world. Your inner navigation always guides you. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal. Align with your purpose and the power in your soul. So, it's interesting because these all kind of make sense to me. I saw the story unfold. Somebody here could, they could literally be a singer and a star. Maybe somebody here is known for, if not their singing ability, then maybe their vocals. Maybe they have a podcast or something where they speak a lot. They could be a public speaker. They could have a job that allows them to speak to a lot of people all at once. But the Star and Audacity makes me think that somebody here is either in the public eye or they're just gaining a lot of attention. And somebody here feels that this person quite literally just has the audacity to go on being their fabulous self. Tranquility and reconciliation, though, I feel like somebody here, in watching them be this way, is actually starting to miss that person. Or maybe, so for example, if somebody here has like a TikTok or YouTube, some sort of social media where they talk a lot, or where they, they're in the public eye a lot. Somebody may be watching those videos and they may miss that person. It's like at first they're kind of annoyed with it. It's like, why are they gaining so much attention? Why did this go viral? Why are people listening to them? Like, somebody here is annoyed at first, but then it's like they kind of want to apologize, because in watching them, either they've come to some sort of realization, or they just acknowledge that peace would be a better option than being angry at this person. Maybe it's for more, I'm hearing social reasons. Maybe it's for social reasons. Maybe it's for, I keep hearing political reasons for some reason. Maybe somebody here is doing some sort of political activism. It could also be for career reasons. Maybe career-wise, it makes more sense. Professional reasons. To be friends with this person or to reconcile with this person. So this could easily be platonic. I was intending a lot of these to be more romantic, but I feel like this could be maybe a formerly romantic connection that now wants to be more platonic or friendship. Take it as it resonates. With humpback whale, though, this is bigger than both of you. Whatever this connection was, it's bigger than the both of you, and I feel like it would benefit both of you to actually forgive each other for whatever is going on. This is definitely a connection where you two are currently either not speaking to each other or not seeing eye to eye, because there is a strong sense of forgiveness here. But let's go ahead and get your individual cards, and I'll let you decide who you are here, pile 1. You may resonate with a little bit of both because there might be mirroring here. But let's start with the sensual magic deck. And like I said, I was intending these to lean a little bit more romantic, but I'll try to read for both cases. Regardless, if this is romantic, you are currently not with each other. For person A, we have jealousy, 34. Yeah, I was getting that rather strongly, that somebody here is rather jealous of the attention somebody is having. Or maybe they're watching them be with somebody else. I don't think that's necessarily the case, because I feel like for the most part, you're both single, or maybe one person is dating and the other person is not. But there are feelings of jealousy here regardless, whether it's toward that person or for that person. We also have trust. So for person B, there's some sort of trust issue here. Either they felt they couldn't trust their person or their trust has been damaged somehow. With jealousy and trust. Maybe this was a connection where somebody interfered with the both of you. It doesn't even have to be like a cheating scenario. It could be like maybe a friend or somebody else's influence was getting in the way of this. But now they're seeing that somebody is having a great time moving forward and the other person is kind of missing out, which is very interesting. Let's get your Lovers Oracle cards for my pile 1. I keep hearing Mon Laferte, her song, Tu Falta de Querer, and I love the chorus of that song. It's come and tell me the truth. So something here about, yeah, especially with trust here, something about the truth could be needing to be said. This does make me curious. Like if you have a channel or a account of something on social media, pile 1, I feel like they're watching your stuff without you realizing it, and you might think, oh no, they never would, they didn't even watch it back when we were together. Nah, I think that part of them that misses you is like wanting to watch it, even if it's just to see your face or hear your voice or something. So for person A, secret admirer. Someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. What did I say? This person still holds some sort of feeling for you and they will not tell anybody. That's why there's this jealousy. That's why this person is here all alone in this room eating ice cream and watching the shadow of two lovers and just feeling jealous, sitting there with their jealousy. And then for person B, I'll be honest, this is a little bit, the energy I'm feeling is just a little bit immature, but I feel like you both can bring that out in each other. Just the same way you can bring out that inner child happy feeling with each other, you can also bring out very immature feelings within each other. Person B though, we have this card. Time. You are trying too hard. Give it time. Wow. Okay, that makes sense here. I've never gotten this card, by the way. Person B is trying too hard to grow back this trust. It could be that person A is the one that is resistant, even though there's a longing for person B. Person A is just, you know, sitting there with their secrets, holding in their jealousy and their secret admiration. And person B is willing to trust person A again, or willing to put more work into this connection, but they're kind of getting a little bit either impatient, or they feel like too much time has passed for this to make amends, when the truth is time is an illusion and things happen in divine timing for person B. I feel like they need to hear that. Let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. Let's get some Woodland Wardens from the Woodland Warden Oracle for my pile 1. Person A has the Mouse and Buttercup Innocence. Okay, so this is giving me full energy from the tarot because it's number 0. And it's also something about person A either being very new to the situation. Maybe they're not used to being jealous, or they're not used to hiding their feelings or having to even apologize. Maybe person A doesn't typically apologize here. But person A, they're definitely new to this particular situation, which would explain why I am getting a sense of immaturity from them. Doesn't matter how old they are. I feel like this person, they're just not used to whatever is going on here. So they're taking a rather childish way of approaching this. And then for person B. And I will say the numbers out loud just because they're rather interesting. I just have to turn on the lights because I can't see some of them. I know it's bright on camera, but it's getting dark where I am. We have the Lizard and Pitcher Plant, Stagnation. What's interesting is that these two are in a bath, and bath to me means stagnant water. We also have time and stagnation. So I feel like for person B, time has really, either it has stood still, or they just, they're kind of stuck in some sort of emotion when it comes to this situation. Person B, they might be, I don't know who it is that is gaining more attention. I don't know who it is that is watching who. I feel like it would be person A watching person B. But for person B, things have kind of been stuck in the same situation when it comes to this particular connection. They've been stuck in the same feelings, in the same whatever, either because they haven't really put too much thought into this, or it's just like they're letting this be whatever it is. They're just like, I'm not worried about this. I'm not dealing with this. I'm just moving on with the rest of my life is what I'm getting from person B, which is very interesting. Both tiny creatures though, but where one is just The innocence of person A, though, is just making me feel a little bad for them. As to where person B, I feel like it is possible that person B has moved on with somebody else. We do have like this other person here, and this, it kind of looks like she would be watching the shadow of these two people in this particular, the way this is set up, and they're not wanting to see it, but they know that they have somebody else, which is very interesting. Let's get the last cards before we dig more deeply into this. For person A, okay, person A gets 2. We have guide and invasive. I feel like person A is trying really hard to not let this particular emotion or this particular situation get to them. And yet it's like the more they try not to let it get to them, the more it does, ironically enough. Let's get a card for person B. We have wise, 31. It may seem that person B is the wiser one here, or they're the ones having to tap in more into their intuition or something along those lines, because it may seem that person B is unbothered or just moving on with themselves, and I feel like they are. Yet with stagnation and time, it's like, believe it or not, if they are moving on with somebody else or they're just keep doing whatever they're doing, they're still very stuck in a particular mentality. They're still very stuck in something. And I feel like they try to tap a lot into wisdom so that they don't remain stuck, or they're trying to take the wiser option here. It wouldn't surprise me if they're the ones seeking out a lot of clarity from other people, from maybe a tarot reading such as this or something along those lines. But let's look at person A, because they're very interesting. It's like they have deeper feelings than you would want to believe. They're very jealous, but they don't want to be, because invasive lets me know that they are aware that some of their emotions and some of the feelings that they have are not healthy, especially when it comes toward this person or toward this connection. With innocence, though, I do feel like, again, they've never had to deal with this, so they're kind of new to it. It's like they're aware that what they are doing isn't, well, it's not that what they are feeling isn't right. You're allowed to feel whatever you feel, and it's good to acknowledge that you are feeling things even if they are negative. But the innocence lets me know that they do not know how to handle this, or this is the first time that they've had to deal with this. And it's honestly bothering them. With guide, I feel like, because guide wanted to come out reverse, it's like they don't know how to find anybody to help them through this, or how to even acknowledge this. It wouldn't surprise me if like they wouldn't go to their friends or family about this, because it almost feels rather a little bit embarrassing for them, honestly, that they are having these feelings. Meanwhile, person B, I feel like they're just a little bit wiser. We have trust, time, wise, and stagnation. So they keep themselves very simple. They try to make sure that things are as simple as possible. I don't think person B is as much of an overthinker, or even if they are, they just allow time and why am I hearing they allow time and money to take care of things, whatever that may mean. But I don't want to say that they are necessarily the wiser one, but the decisions they are making are probably wiser in moving on and in waiting things out. I feel like person B really is they don't mind waiting things out. They don't mind like time taking care of things. They say time heals all wounds. And I kind of want to agree with person B, but that's not necessarily true, because I think when they come back to thinking about this connection, their feelings are still the same. And if they had truly healed from that, they wouldn't be the same. They would be something better or something lighter or something more clear to them. I feel like person B may be the one with the trust issues above everything, and why that is, we'll get into the tarot for that. But I do feel that the both of them want to come together and have some sort of reconciliation, especially because there is this feeling that somebody here is in the public eye, or somebody is gaining a lot of attention. I'm still not sure who would be what, though, because I almost wanted to say it's person A with all this simplicity, but now I'm wondering if it's actually person, sorry, I was thinking it was person B because of all the simplicity, but now I'm wondering if it's actually person A, because this innocence makes me think that they are stepping into something new, and that could be the limelight. So it could easily be either or here. But they both have this very interesting dynamic where I think they're both used to being in the spotlight. I feel like they carry themselves very similarly when it comes to um, being in the limelight, to being in the spotlight, to they handle situations similarly, and I feel like this could be what might have brought them together. I do see one being a little bit more hurt than the other, but I think they just handle their hurts very differently. One by overanalyzing, and the other one by just moving on with their life, regardless of whether they have healed or not. So it wouldn't surprise me if if person B, who clearly seems like they have moved on, hasn't really moved on. Person B would be that person who, like, let's say this was a breakup. I feel like they found somebody first, like they found another partner or another relationship after this connection. They were the first to find somebody, and it would be presumed that they have healed from the past person, and the truth is they haven't, because they're repeating the patterns that they had with their previous person with the new person. That's what I'm seeing. So I'm not saying one person is better than the other. I feel like they're both going through something, and this reconciliation is honestly something that will heal the both of them. But for now, they're sitting with their feelings on their own, not really dealing with them. Maybe person A is dealing with them a little bit more, just because this invasiveness and the innocence lets me know that if they know they have not dealt with something before, they would seek the help. Meanwhile, person B is just moving on with their life regardless of whatever they're feeling. But both parties here do not handle feelings very well, at least when it comes to this particular situation, at least when it comes to this particular relationship. So right now you're both not together. You probably separated, and you're having to deal with this. So if this sounds like you and your person, let's move on to the tarots, where we can more deeply see who or what this where this connection is headed. That's what we're doing. I wanted to say who, because maybe some of you are wondering, like, who's going to reconcile first? Who's going to say something first? I'm hearing that rather strongly. Well, let me not answer that. Let's look at the tarot to see what it says. For my pile one, we are using the the Mystic Dreams Tarot. The Lucid Dreams Tarot is also made by Sans Soleil, so if you would like that, I have a, I do link all the decks that I use in the description below, and if you don't see it for whatever reason, just leave me a comment and I'll let you know which one it is. But we are also doing this particular tarot section A and B style, just to see where this connection is headed, to see where you both are mentally and physically. So where is this connection headed? These are the connecting energies. We've got the Divine Masculine reversed. Nobody is wanting to take the first step here. Nobody is wanting to take charge of this. That's what I'm feeling. Like, neither of you really wants to take the first step. We have the Three of Swords reversed. Yeah, you're both tired of the heartbreak. The heartbreak has already happened. The heartbreak could still be happening for one or the both of you, but I feel like you kind of want the sadness to stop, and you're aware that in order for this heartbreak to heal or to get completely over it, somebody has to say something here. And why that is, I'm not sure. Maybe you both, like I said, you work together, or you see each other on social media. Maybe you run in the same circle or something along those lines. Two of Cups reversed. Yeah, neither of you wants to make the first move. And the Hermit reversed, but neither of you will stay away either. This is so... It's like neither of you are going to decline an invitation to go out, but neither of you are going to say something to the other regardless. It's like you're not going to be hiding away with your sad little feelings or your trust issues. No, you're not doing that anymore. But at the same time, you're not going to approach each other. It's very much a stalemate here. And like I said, there's a little bit of immaturity to this connection, and that doesn't matter what you both do, doesn't matter what you both, how old you both are, how long you've known each other. There's just a little bit of immaturity on both your parts, honestly, when it comes to this connection, because neither of you wants to make the first move. You may feel like it's somebody else's time to make the move. So, and I guess I can't really say that for you, because I mean, we could take into account, I don't know, genders here. Maybe the man should make the first move or something like that. But then somebody here is thinking, well, no, they're the ones who hurt me, they should make the first move. Or they're the ones who broke it off, they should make the first move. Something along those lines. Like, that's the biggest problem in this connection. And that's what's keeping it from moving forward. I want to get one more. A little tiebreaker, if you will. We have the Shadow reversed. you both have overcome some sort of bad habit. It could even be this particular relationship. I feel like this relationship could have easily been one that was very physically based or based on certain bad habits that you both really enabled within each other. I don't think either of you want that anymore. And there could be a particular fear that if you get together, this will happen again. That would make a lot of sense. Let's say this is a romantic connection that broke up and now you just want to be friends. Somebody here is afraid that one person would want to continue doing something. It could be one of those cases where, like, when you get together, it's easy to fall back into each other physically. I had a hard time saying that, so that makes sense. Let's go ahead and get individual cards though, since it seems like for now this connection isn't headed anywhere until somebody gets over themselves and apologizes first. And I'm not saying that has to be you, pile one. I'm just saying you're both very stubborn. You're both very stubborn, and I love you both very much. Okay, so person A, and again, you can identify with whichever one, because sometimes they flip when I move on to the tarot section. We've got the King of Wands. Okay, I'm turning on the light because I can't, like, it's fine here, but I can't read. Much better. And see, I feel like it's brighter on the screen too. It's that stubbornness that you both have. And I can say something about stubbornness. I'm a Taurus. But see how stubborn I was to turn on the lights and I couldn't even read? So for person A, we have the King of Wands. So person A is very much used to being the one who is in control, very much used to being in power. Regardless of their gender, they have King of Wands energy, very much confident, very much being in the spotlight as well. Again, I'm not saying they're the one who's in the spotlight, but person A likes to have control. More cards for person A. We've got the Moon reversed. Person A has a secret that they need to reveal, and that could be part of the reason they don't want to come forward to person B, because they know if they do, they're going to have to talk about that thing that they don't want to talk about because they know that person B will bring that up, which again, that could be part of this stalemate. Like, they don't want to approach them because then they're going to have to talk about it, and maybe they themselves don't want person B to approach them either. We've got the Seven of Cups reversed. Oh, the ringing in my left ear. Person B has a lot of person A, person A has a lot of options, and they're not great. They pale in comparison to whatever person B was or is, if person B is still an option. But person A, we got the Nine of Cups. Let's get more cards. Person A is definitely in their feelings about this though, with all these cups. We've got the Five of Wands. Yeah, they're afraid that this is going to escalate into an argument, or that some sort of verbal spat will be had, because they were hiding a secret. It could be the fact that they had many options. I don't think they do, or even if they do, like I said, they don't compare to person B. And the Nine of Cups, it makes me think of a wish granted. I kind of want to say person B could have been their wish granted, but it's like they manifested person B, and as soon as they had them, they were like, never mind, I want to move on to something else. And I think they're very aware that they've been very capricious in this sense. Like they were acting like a spoiled child, essentially. It's like, I finally got what I wanted and now I don't want it. And I feel like, I'm not sure if that's relevant to what's going on here, but I'm just being able to see through person A rather quickly. And now that we have the Five of Wands, it's like they're fighting with themselves, and they know that if they were to approach person B, they would have to get past a very difficult conversation here. And I don't think they want that. They want to have an easy life. They don't want to argue. We have the Four of Pentacles. Very stubborn. I mean, that's all I'm getting from that card. They're just stubborn. They're holding on to certain ideals. They're holding on to certain feelings even. And then we have is this the Six of Swords? Is this meant to be reversed, or? I can't tell. The six in this particular printing of this card. I'm just going to take it upright. I think person A is just moving on. It's like it's interesting because they come off as like large and in charge and that they can do whatever. But when it comes to it, when you get deep down, it's like they're really just scared and don't want to deal with anything. And that's kind of frustrating. I could see if I was person B, I would be frustrated with person A. But at the same time, I think they got scared. And I kind of want to know what the secret is. I feel like the secret could be that they got scared of what this connection could be, whether it was something good or bad. They got scared of where this could lead, because the Seven of Cups reversed is multiple options. It's also confusion, but yet they were both confused and not confused with person B, you know? It's like they both understood that person B could be somebody very special, but then at the same time, they were being distracted by everything else. Multiple cups also lets me think of, I mean, we are talking about bad habits here. Maybe they were somebody that drank a lot with person B, or just in general, they drank a lot, or maybe that was clouding their judgment, or they were allowing the influence of others. They were allowing outside influences color this particular connection. With the Five of Wands and the Four of Pentacles, it's like they're willing to fight to keep whatever they've got going on. Again, this just feels like it's immature energy. And maybe they are younger, I don't know. But person A, they're holding on very tightly to some sort of lifestyle that I think will wear them out in not too much time. That's what I'm seeing. Let's go ahead and move on to person B, though. What's going on with person B? Because I don't see, there is a need for a reconciliation, but I think maybe you both understand this, but neither of you wants to come through. So person B is willing to lower their defenses if they see they're going to get something fruitful out of this. It's like person A is willing to talk, and I keep getting, person B, this side, whatever this person is willing to talk. They're willing to lower their defenses. We also have the manifestor reverse. This is the magician reversed. I think for a while person B was trying to manifest this particular situation, but then they stopped because they realized that they were tired of trying to manifest something that wasn't happening, and they were like, okay, if it's not happening, then clearly it's not going to happen. Let me let this go. I think person B had to force themselves to let this go, even though they also wanted a reconciliation, because I don't think they wanted to be the one to apologize. They very much believe that person A should, especially with this moon reversed. I think they're aware that person A was hiding something. Even with this King of Wands card, maybe person A is the older one here, or the masculine one, or something about that fire energy. They expect person B to apologize, because it sure seems like person A, they really believe that person A should apologize, because it sure seems like person A likes to take lead and charge in everything else. So it would make sense that person A also, is the first to apologize. Geez, how long were you together? This seems like an old couple arguing almost. I can see both sides. If these are my grandparents arguing, I wouldn't want to take sides. I think I see the right and wrong in both of them. Okay, person B. We've got the Page of Pentacles. I feel like person B is really moving on with whatever else is happening in their life. We've got the Chariot reversed, and yet there's this stagnation. Because the Chariot reversed is not being able to move forward. I feel like person B is not able to move forward with something because either they are still holding on to either the notion that person A will apologize or make up with them, or that they have to hear from person A whatever this particular secret is or was. Maybe they already know what it is, but they need to hear it from person A so that they can move on with their life. I feel like person B is seeking a closure that may never even come to them. And that's unfortunate, because I feel like person B does deserve that closure, but person A won't give. We've got the Six of Wands reversed. It's kind of like they keep having success, they keep moving on with their life, they're doing great in life. But it's kind of like they kind of wish that person A had been there to celebrate some of these wins with. Maybe there are certain wins and situations that they had envisioned with person A, or that they had told person A about. It's like, one of these days I'm going to do XYZ, and now person B is doing XYZ and person A isn't there, and it's like, well, that's unfortunate, because I thought person A would be there. I don't know how long this connection lasted, and I think that's irrelevant. What I think is relevant is how deeply you both felt for each other in whatever time that you had together. Because this feels like one of those connections. Like, you could have been the best of friends for all of 3 months, and now it seems like you didn't know a time before each other. But now that you're out of each other's life again, it's like, how do I move on having known a person like that, you know? Let's get one more. Let's get two more cards for person B. We have the Fates. This is the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune doesn't want to be reversed here. Person B definitely believes in fate. And I feel like I was just mentioning that. It's like, how do they move on knowing that there's somebody like this out there who at one point rooted for them? And now I really want to know what this secret is. It's like, who came between the both of them? Why did they fall out? Because if they're so stubborn, why couldn't they so stubbornly want to make things better with each other and for each other? I don't know. I could ask that. Let me ask that. Okay, last card. We have the Holy Dancer. This is the Hanged Man for person B. Person B has had to do a lot of perspective shifting. I feel like person B really does ask themselves a lot of questions about person A because it just doesn't make sense to them. Meanwhile, person A, they have their secrets. They have all these options that, again, pale in comparison to whatever was going on previously. They want to be in charge. They want to be in control. But at the same time, they don't want to deal with something here. They don't want to come face to face with person B, and I do wonder why that is. So let me go ahead and get like a past, present, future for whatever this situation is, because right now it seems like it's going nowhere until one of you, person B, is letting this go and moving on, and person A is probably just going to let this haunt them until it pops up again. So past, present, future for this connection, please. Spirit, what's going on with them? Why are they being so stubborn? We got the King of Swords. So there's communication here. We've got the Queen of Swords. No, the Knight of Swords reversed. Like I said, I feel like person B found out something about person A through somebody else and they want to hear it from person A. Or they want clarity from person A. But with the Knight of Swords reversed, it's like they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to say anything. It's very weird for the Knight of Swords to be quiet when it's not their job to be quiet, and they have to be. So it's kind of like a gag order here. Like, who and what is keeping person A so quiet here, other than their own stubbornness? Because for somebody who is the King of Swords, it sure seems like they're being controlled by something else. Let's get more cards. Because person B, for their part, they're kind of stuck on this and they don't want to be. They're stuck on this and they try to manifest something and it didn't happen. They try to manifest the truth from person A and it never happened. So it's kind of like they're like, okay, I'm done trying to manifest something. Let me move on. So they're not directly maybe they have tried to go directly to person A as well. I mean, I could easily see that. Maybe, especially with the Nine of Wands reversed, it's like somebody laying down their guard and saying, hey, let's talk about this. But person A doesn't want to. We have the King and the Knight at odds with each other. We have, okay, so this is the Hierophant reversed. It's called Jupiter in this deck, but this is like a karmic lesson that has yet to be completed. So I feel like the connection isn't over, whatever's going on here. It just will take some time for this to come out, or it will take some time for the both of you to come together and finally admit to it. I guess when you both stop hurting from it, or when you both stop wanting or caring about this, is when it will happen. But this is definitely a karmic lesson for the both of you that I think person B has accepted and moved on with it, and person A, I mean, I don't know if they've accepted it. They're just kind of like shoving it under the rug and moving on. It's like, I'm not dealing with this. And yet one of these people is jealous that the other one is doing so well. Seven of Wands, accountability, yeah. Because it's laying over here on person B's side, I think person B is more than willing enough to take accountability where they've done wrong. And the Ace of Wands. I do see eventually the both of you starting off on something new, starting off, you will eventually speak to each other and come to better terms. But I think by then, well, I don't know, back of the deck, the Star reversed. I feel like there's little hope for this. It's kind of like somebody here is waiting for something to fizzle out so that when they come back through, like, they no longer have feelings or a desire to be with each other. Which is very unfortunate, because I'm seeing like, you know how when you have a candle and it has like a lid and you put the lid on top of it to make the flame die out? That's what I'm seeing. It's like somebody here is not willing to blow out the candle, but they do want to see that flame dwindle down or die down, which is rather unfortunate. It's like, why let this linger on? It's like, instead of having a quick ending, a quick short sweet ending where both are fine, it's like they'd rather just let this phase out and let both of them hurt where they may. I kind of want to say it's third party intervention, because we did have the Three of Swords reversed and we did have this Devil card reversed. So it's like somebody here wants them both to know and understand that this shouldn't happen, so they're gonna let the pain linger a little bit. And it's not the universe. So that's not what the universe would ever do to either of you. This is somebody. It could be a parent, especially because we have the Kings twice here, and that's father-like energy. It could be a friend because we have the Knight, and that would be somebody that is about your same age, somebody that is a friend. And we have Divine Masculine reversed. Yeah, somebody here is dealing with an over-controlling father, or an a wounded a masculine wound, if you will. They're dealing with things from their father, or how their father would handle this, which is very interesting. And this kind of makes me sad, pile one. I didn't want my first pile to be like this, but yeah, let's move on. If this is something you don't want to happen, especially if you resonated more with with person B, and you keep manifesting an apology or a coming together of like speaking to each other, because there's nothing wrong with manifesting an opportunity to have conversation. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's when you start specifically manifesting an apology that they don't want to give, that's where it gets a little bit overly controlling. It's more like manifesting the two of you coming together to sit down and have a conversation. I feel like that's where you leave it a little bit more open-ended for the other person to still have freedom of will, because otherwise that feels manipulative. So because I know I've been there before, where I've wanted to manifest, meeting somebody else again, but after a while I just like, you know what, this doesn't feel right, let me let it go. And let them come to me when they wanted. They still haven't, so clearly they didn't. So, you just let it go. So I completely understand this energy, pile one. But let's go ahead and move on to your closing advice. And we are using the Affirmators Love and Relationships deck. I am sending both you and your person a lot of love and healing, though, just because it seems like it's not fair for both of you to end things in such a way that you are both hurting silently, individually, and apart from each other, especially when it seems like there used to be something there. My best self. I trust that when I'm doing what's best for me and being the happiest version of myself, the right sorts of relationships will appear in my life. That means I can let go of all of my worries about the future, knowing that my only job is to be happy in this moment, while simultaneously attaining a cosmic level of enlightenment, awareness, and total psychological self-actualization. So yeah, I think this is advice for you, pile one. Just focus on being your best self, and things will come to you, whether it's new people or maybe this person finally breaking the silence here. We also have perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house, besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about? What will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you're 80 years old and you gaze back on the timeline of your life? In this moment, you are being given the gift of clear perspective, of knowing that in the end, everything is going to be probably much better than okay. Think large enough and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk and you're really onto something. I feel like this connection will shift perspective with time. I think if you give it time, you will see this connection more for what it actually was, as opposed to what you thought it was or whatever you thought would become of it. I think with perspective, you will look back on this and be very grateful, no matter what that person did or how it ended, because it will change you. It changed you already into the person that you are. We have back of the deck, wants and needs. I take stock of my relationships and I'm honest about what I want and need from the people in my life. I note the difference between the two. Wants are negotiable, needs are not. Both may be desired and either may be acquired, but that's getting into Venn diagram territory and no one wants to draw one of those, though some of us might need to. So yeah, I feel like this could have been, this maybe needs and wants for a particular subject about this relationship that was necessary to talk about. And maybe your needs and wants are different as well. Let's get the last cards from the I Am So Totally Into You deck. She is at once completely familiar to me, but at the same time, she is also a complete mystery to me in some ways. And there are times when we are lying in bed and I look over and sort of have a start. This is Barack Obama talking about his lady Michelle. So I feel like this person really respects you. It doesn't matter who's who here. I feel like you both have an immense amount of respect for each other. And there is even power couple goals here with you, with each other. I don't know if those are relevant anymore, especially if you're no longer speaking to each other, because a lot of this will depend on who is willing to break the silence first. I do see there being a new start within this connection, but I don't know where it will go from there. Whether you will just want to be friends or whether you will want to build something else here. Let's get one more card. I want to say a story about perspective, but I'll save it for last. Let's turn loose our golden falcons so that they can meet in the sky where our spirits belong, necking like two hot kids. Hafiz, just ask the donkey. Yeah, there's definitely some sort of spiritual connection. So even if in the 3D you are not talking to each other, in the 5D you're still very curious about each other. You're still dealing with each other's energies. And maybe this is a call for you to detach energetically from this person to move forward. But with perspective, my little story. So if you want to end it here, you can and move on to something else. But I was once with somebody and our connection was a little bit, it was very casual. Like it was nothing, like we knew it wasn't going to be serious, but like we took each other a little bit too seriously, I guess, as people, because after like a week I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. I am done with this. But then like a few days later I was like, you know what, I'm sorry, I wasn't in the right mind space. I miss you, let's get back together. And that would be like a joke for a long time while I was with that person. And I think it was like a few weeks later or a month or so later, and I was like, and he brought it back up, and I was like, you know what, you're never gonna let that go. You're never gonna let go of the fact that I dumped you after a week but then took you back. Like we could be 60 something and married up for, you know, forever, and you would still bring that up, and I'd be like, you know what, at least I married you, didn't I? I'm no longer with that person. But that whole scenario really cracked me up. It's like sometimes it's the little things that we hold on to that just don't really matter. What matters in the long run is how much you were dedicated to each other and how much you both changed each other. And I'm getting a little choked up because, you know, sometimes we fight over stupid things, but at least, you know, there was something good about that connection, or something good about this relationship, I'm sure, that really added to your growth and to your character as a person. It helped you grow in some way, shape, or form. So I feel like having gratitude for this connection, regardless of whether or where it's going, adding gratitude to this will really help you out, pile one. But this is where I leave it. Thank you so much for letting me read for you, and thank you for letting me tell you my story, if it made any sense. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 2. If you chose the orange calcite heart, then we have a reading here for you for what is coming up next in this connection, what is going to go on between you and your person. And this can be any type of connection. It could be romantic, it could be maybe dating, or it could also be seen as platonic. I feel like the last particular reading could have been seen that way. So let's go ahead and look at the cards that you chose. I should warn you though, I do intend a lot of these to be more romantic. So if it's not romantic, you can just, you know, ignore the romance that is coming through. So let's go ahead and look at the oracles you chose. These are going to be connecting energies. Ooh, we have dragon, supernatural. You are the ancient wise sage. You can shapeshift at will. Mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. This is a beautiful card. I don't think I've ever gotten this card. I mean, I know some of these cards are in these decks, but I don't always get all of them. We have the dead end job, number 31. You got 2 love oracle cards. We have commitment. This card signifies an engagement, marriage, or that both people want to commit to a serious relationship. This card also pertains to a stable relationship coming your way. And then we have not for you. This situation and person is not for you. The universe wants better things for you. Rejection is the way your spirit guides protect you from something that is not in your highest good. And then we have healing. So what's interesting is that we have 2 very polarizing energies here, because we have supernatural, commitment, dead end job, not for you, and healing. It could very much be that this is a connection where you are at a fork in the road, where either you have to choose between being committed to this person or just completely rejecting this person. But regardless, there is this sense of healing here, because it's kind of like, for a lot of you, you are, this connection is very black and white. Because on the one hand, like, either you know you're going to commit to this person or you're going to end up having nothing to do with them. And I don't feel there can be a middle ground here. Like, if this was a connection where you both try to be friends, I don't think that'd be possible, because there's either too many feelings involved, or, I mean, I don't want to say it was an unhealthy connection. I just feel like the feelings are they're too deep. They're too profound. Like, these would be two people that when they get together, they can't help but be each other's person. Like, this would be a connection where for example, there would be a lot of jealousy or just a lot of involvement with each other. If you have children, I don't like, for example, if you did have children, you would have no choice but to be with each other, because there would be an instant pull to want to be in each other's lives. Like, I'm hearing one person say, there's no way you're going to raise my own kids without me. That's what I'm hearing. Like, this is like all or nothing for this particular connection, because I'm seeing like, and honestly, it kind of breaks my heart, because I feel like it'd be fine if you two were friends, but I don't think you two could be friends. Like, either you're going to be each other's everything or each other's nothing. And I feel like this is part of why this healing card is here. The numbers coming through were 31 and 37, so there could be a difference of 6 here, whether that's, 6 years, maybe you've been together 6 years, maybe 6 months maybe for some of you, or something along those lines. But 6 is also a number of partnerships, like Lifepath number 6. It would be somebody who cares a lot about their family, their collective, and their friends. So there's definitely something here about this partnership that is very pivotal. So let's go ahead and get your individual energies. We're doing this A and B style, and you can choose to be whomever you want. But also notice the colors here. We have like pink, and then we have gray. So for person A, we have sheep and blackberry, devotion, number 5. And then for person B, we have the eel and iris, safety. I feel like you're both looking for the same thing, oddly enough, because we have safety and devotion. Like, person A is definitely very devoted, and person B cares a lot about their safety. Let's get more cards. For pile 2, we have healer for person A, and then person B, we have creative. Already, I do see a level of compatibility, which is rather interesting, because I'm kind of, I want to know what this is, what this not for you and dead-end job is. It could also be that you're quite literally speaking about a dead-end job that is not for somebody here. Like, somebody here could be trying to talk to somebody about finding a better job because they want to commit, which would make sense. I feel like this is definitely a connection where you're both very involved with each other. It wouldn't surprise me if you were already dating or somehow together. So for person A, we have this stuff, new beginning. A new adventure awaits. Embrace it and live your dreams passionately. Person B. Oh, okay. Something's going on with person B where they're a little bit jumpy. We have this one. Let there be closeness between you, but always give each other space. Love never claims. It simply allows and gives. Let's get your sensual magic oracle. For person A, we have trust, and this came out, well, let me not reference you to that pile, because I feel like this is a very different energy. But with new beginning, healer, trust, and devotion. there's a lot of emotion on person A's side towards this connection. And then person B. We've got fulfillment, 35. Lots of booties in this one. Somebody here likes somebody's butt. But this is also Lilith, which is interesting. Actually, I should probably censor the majority of this picture. We have fulfillment. So what we've got going on with person A, let's start there because there's a very particular energy coming through with them. So it's possible that person A is definitely a healer. And one thing about healers, one thing about people who do a lot of energy work, who do a lot of these sorts of things, is that we're really good at transmuting energy. There's something here that is very transmutational about person A's very existence, or at the very least when it comes to this connection. Because I'm getting this feeling that person A is very devoted to whatever it is that they love, to whatever it is that they do. In fact, it could be from person A that this particular connection gets an entire healing. And whether this was because they intended to do this or not will be up to you, the viewer, to see whether this is the case. Because person A is very much like doing a lot for this connection in terms of healing it, in terms of doing something good for it, especially when it comes to how they view person B. Because I feel like person A definitely adores person B. Like there's a feeling here that they may want a new beginning with them, even if things are going fine. Or even if there has been some sort of severing in the trust between the both of them. It feels like person A is very much wanting a new beginning with person B. Because person B is going... It could be possible that person B is going through this dead-end job and not for you energy. In fact, the way I laid these cards out, I didn't intend this to be this way, by the way, but I do feel that person A may be the one wanting commitment and they may be the one wanting a healing, and that there is something definitely very supernatural or very spiritual about this connection. There is definitely a very strong spiritual tie between the both of you. Again, whether you acknowledge this or not, whether you are aware of this or not. But I do get the feeling that person A is just so loving and trusting. Even where the trust has been severed, it's like they're willing to repair that trust if they see that person B has taken the steps to become a better person or has taken the time to devote themselves to this connection. Meanwhile, person B, we have safety, creative, fulfillment, and let there be closeness between the both of you. So I feel like person B has gone through their own sense of... For them, it's a sense of security. It could even be a codependency that they may have within connections in general. Because safety, I mean, look how this eel is wrapped around this iris. They're wrapped around it like they want to protect it, or even like they're holding onto it for dear life. And there's this energy of like, person B would be somebody who holds on to their people very strongly. But at the same time, it's that very need to hold on to somebody that could easily drive people away from them, because there needs, like this card says, let there be closeness, but give each other space. I feel like person B has a hard time giving their people space. And yet I feel like person A doesn't mind that. It's kind of like where person B would know that their possessiveness or jealousy or their need to like claim their person can be seen as toxic or even unhealthy. It's actually person A's kink, if you will. Like person A is all about that. They're like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I don't see that as a problem. Person A absolutely adores this. Not only that, but in allowing person B to express this need for closeness, this need for fulfillment even, I think person A heals that within them. It's so interesting. This is definitely a pile where you guys match each other's freak, if you will. Like there's definitely a feeling that you both kind of... you match each other rather well. Like even where your faults lie, like whatever you feel is unhealthy or not great about yourself, whatever you have felt that you have needed to change in previous relationships, in this connection, you don't have to do that. In this connection, it's like, come with all your traumas and all your problems, because somehow I'm hearing they will be corrected in this connection. And I feel like that is the case. But it's like they will be accepted, and in accepting those particular situations, like you heal them. It's kind of like, the best way I can describe this is that one way of acknowledging you have one way to solve a problem is to acknowledge that there is a problem. And I feel like within this connection, you do that to each other. Like you both acknowledge that there are problems. And ironically enough, once that acknowledgement is there, like you take the steps naturally to resolve them. So I feel like this is what is going on between you and this person. I feel like you both do this very naturally within your connection, which is why the theme of commitment is coming through, but also the not for you. It's like you're trying to decide whether this connection is good for you or not. Because I don't really get a sense that this is unhealthy, but I could see why other people would see it that way. But I don't know if they're a fair judge to you and your person's particular situation. Because overall, the energy I'm getting is that it could be person B that is fearing this connection, or fearing that if they were to embrace this connection, which on the whole seems rather positive and healthy, at least for their particular circumstances, that it would be a dead end. Like maybe I do feel person B feels a little bit more with this creative energy that they're not ready to settle down, or that they just want to explore a little bit more. With fulfillment though, they're very fulfilled by this, and it's only like a small piece of them that really feels that this just wouldn't be right, or that it's not the right time. Notice how my voice gets a little weird whenever I say that, just, confirming that which person B hasn't really said out loud, because I feel like they acknowledge the trust, the devotion, and the love within person A, but they need their space. And it's ironic because I feel like they may be the one calling for space, but they don't want there to be space. Does that make sense? Like person B may suffer from this particular phenomenon, let's call it, where they say the things and they mean the opposite of it for whatever reason. I don't think they're trying to control or gaslight anybody in doing that either. I just feel like they grew up in a mentality that said that if you say the opposite, you will get that which you want. Like whatever you say, you will get the opposite of. That's how they grew up, or that's how their particular mental structure is. Like it's very much irony to a T. Like they believe in irony being the thing or the way to get something. Also reverse psychology. Maybe they had parents that used a lot of reverse psychology on them, and that's how they live their life. Unfortunately, I feel like person B really does, like I'm not even saying this as a joke. Like maybe when you first found out about this from person B, if person B is your person, you kind of wondered like what this was. But the truth is, when person B says something, I feel like sometimes they mean the opposite of it, and that's where they kind of get a little freaked out. Because there's this with fulfillment here, I'm getting a sense of genuine of genuineness, like something here being genuine, and they're not used to it. They're used to this creative energy, and creative energy is great because you can create something out of nothing. But I'm also seeing like the negative side of creativity, which is being able to, lie very, very well, or to create things that are not really there. It's a little bit chaotic, and it's weird because I don't typically read this card that way. Like I'm not saying creativity is a bad thing, of course it's not, but you can see how people can use creativity for bad, and this is where they're kind of at a moral or mental crisis when it comes to this connection. Hence why we have the dead end job and the not for you. I feel like they understand the magnitude of this connection, and they kind of fear it because they see how genuine and loving person A is toward them. With new beginning, it's possible that they separated and person A is wanting a new beginning, but person B is like, they want the closeness, but they also want the space. They want a love that, like, they wish they could want the love that never claims, but they don't know how to do that. Like person B doesn't know how to have it's quite possible that person B just doesn't know how to have a healthy relationship, and this is like one of the first that they've ever had to encounter. And I feel like you could be either or person here, pile 2. I don't see anything negative for I'm not saying any of this very negatively, because even with person A, if you were to look at their negative traits, they might be putting a little bit too much on this connection. Maybe they're trying to put a lot of this healing energy into something that doesn't want to be healed. But I don't really get that. I'm getting just such an overwhelming sense of love here. And maybe they kind of wish that person B wouldn't be so afraid of the love and devotion that they have to offer, even this healing that they have to offer here. It's just so interesting, this connection. I'm going to get a floriography card here for my pile 2, just to see what other messages want to come through. I'm just going to get one for the connection as a whole. And I'm not looking at these as I'm shuffling. My head is turned upwards. So for my pile 2, it's going on. We've got, oh, we got tulips. These are pretty. Perfect love. The tulip's arrival symbolizes the start of spring, heralding longer days of promise. There are some real show-off varieties with frilly edges. It is a symbol of the Ottoman Empire. It's the turban. It denotes passion, hopeless love, undying adoration. And if you slipped up, white tulips are a perfect choice to beg forgive me. What did I say? There's just like there is such a purity to this particular connection, to the point where I'm like, where I just want to hug the both of you and want you to be happy together, because look, whatever faults person B may have, whatever faults either of you have, I feel like there's so much love and compassion and a wanting to forgive each other. Because like I said, there's definitely a spiritual connection here with the dragon and the supernatural. You can shapeshift at will. Your mastery is your destiny. Rise with dignity. Like, if you both wanted this to be a proper connection, it would be. The only thing getting in the way is the dead-end job and the not for you. And I feel like it could be either person. I was just saying more person B because I was getting a little bit of hesitancy with their safety and creative energy. I feel like it could be person B hesitating, wanting to approach this connection because they don't want this to be, especially if you're both rather on the young side, or if neither of you are ready to commit. I feel like person B would just want to see what other options they have, or they want to see what else there is out there. There could be some healing that person B needs to go through, but honestly, person A, with as much love as they have, they're willing to be the placeholder for person B's healing, because we never really heal people. We allow them to have the space to heal themselves. This is something that you both need to know. This is something that everybody watching needs to know. We ourselves do not heal people. We allow people to find that healing within themselves. We heal our own selves and our own selves only, but we can provide the space, the knowledge, the tools for people to heal themselves. And person A, I think, has done that in abundance. I feel like they can't help but do so. Person A is somebody who heals a lot of people. So it's no surprise that they would want to do this for person B, because I see the sense of devotion that they have here toward them. So I'm going to go ahead and point out some symbology here. There's a lot of pink here. Again, a lot of love. We have dragon, so somebody could be you or the dragon, or both of you. We have a sheep, which somebody could be you or the sheep as well. We have the eel and the iris. And you know what's funny? There was a song by Bjork. And in that particular song, she says, every boy is a snake is a lily. I was thinking of that when I saw this imagery. It's called Oceania. I think that song is just an ode to Oceania and the beauty of that place. So maybe both of you have a tie to that part of the world. In both cards, we have a man and a woman. Like in this one, they're embracing each other, letting me know that person A is ready to embrace whatever this is. But in person B's, they're a little bit secluded. Well, not secluded, but they're a little bit apart from each other. Like the woman is looking at the man, and the man is just lying in the tub, either waiting for her or just, it's like they're not quite there yet, because there's so much love and compassion coming from person A, but person B may or may not be ready for this, but they acknowledge that there is compassion there. Actually, if you look at this card of the creative card, it looks a little bit like something in Oceania, with the islands and the boats and the tropical setting. So if this sounds like you, it is quite possible that you guys are contemplating the next step in your relationship. I am seeing that. There's a contemplation though. And I guess you're here to see like where this is headed, especially if this sounds like your person. Like you see them on the fence, but you're ready to give them your all pile too. So if this sounds like you and your person, let's go ahead and move on to, it's weird. I didn't even see this. This is at the top of the deck, but here we have lilies, Kala lily, faith. I feel like Spirit is asking you to have faith, either in your person or this connection. Since I was just talking about that song. Synchronicities. I like to pay attention to them. But let's go ahead and move on to the tarot to see more in depth how you and your person are. What's next in this connection? What's next for the both of you? And we will do this also A and B style, just to get your perspectives on this connection. We are using the Mystic Dreams Tarot. I wonder if some of you, if you are getting married, you're wondering of going to Oceania as like your honeymoon, or you've spoken about going there. I have to listen to that song now because I want to say it's just about, you know, an ode to the beauty of that area. So let's go ahead and get your connecting energies to see what is coming up next within this connection. We have Temperance reversed. Lots of healing in this connection. We have the Chariot. Progression forward. We have the Three of Wands. Making plans for sure. Five of Cups reversed. This is all very positive. Let me get one more. Well, let me read what I see and then I'll get the last one. So I'm seeing that there's been a lot of healing within this connection. I feel like whatever troubles you've had, whatever obstacles you've had, you can easily overcome. Because Temperance reversed is typically, well, Temperance upright is healing in general. It's setting things in balance. Reversed lets me know that you've acknowledged that there is a problem, that there is something going on here. And there is this feeling that, you know, you both want to heal, especially on person A side. Person A can't help but be a healer, whether they want to or not. Person A could easily be like that, the therapist friend, the psychic friend, the friend who is just wise beyond their years, wise beyond belief. Like they are the one that all their friends and family come to whenever there's a problem because they have a lot of good advice to offer. And not just the advice that people want to hear, but the advice that people need to hear. The Chariot and the Three of Wands lets me know that there is going to be forward momentum within this connection. You are both making plans and moving ahead with them. I think you are both okay doing this. And the Five of Cups lets me know that there's been a sense of renewed optimism within this connection. Like I said, there's that new beginning. I feel like person A really instigated this new beginning, or because person A has done their healing, or because person A has overcome something, they're willing to offer this cup of love toward person B. So there is momentum forward, there is forward progress. Like you're both moving on with something. And I feel like you're even deciding to keep certain negative things in the past, like whatever disappointments or whatever went on in your past, you're keeping it there and you're deciding to move forward with positive things. This is definitely a connection where you both resolve your problems very easily. Well, if not easily, you both just resolve your problems because you're both in that mindset of allowing love to win, essentially. Very interesting and very beautiful. Let's get one more card for the connecting energy before we move on. Yeah, we have the Page of Cups reversed. Typically, I would see this as a bad thing, but what I'm seeing is that you're putting your insecurities and your immaturity to the side. The Page of Cups can be seen as immaturity, but reversed, it's kind of like you're letting go of the immaturity. You're letting go of those initial feelings that made you feel stuck or stagnant in this connection. You're letting go of anything that keeps you playing small or keeps you feeling like that, you know, traumatized child that, you know, when we get into certain relationships, certain things will trigger us because it takes us back to our childhood. That's what I'm seeing. I feel like both of you have had to deal with this within this connection quite a lot. So you have let that go, or you've overcome that. It wouldn't surprise me if you both spoke a lot about what you like and don't like in this connection. This is a very healthy connection. I need you to understand that, because maybe some people aren't seeing it this way, especially if, like, for example, you complain to your friends about this particular person that you are with, and all they see is the negative. I think what they don't see is how you heal. What they don't see is how you handle conflict. What they don't see is how much you're so devoted to each other, that you're willing to help each other in each other's struggles, that you're willing to accept the faults and even help each other overcome those faults. Honestly, this love is it's very tender. And I'm kind of loving it because I'm seeing through what other people may see, and I'm seeing to what it is that you both have going on intimately. And I think that's something that people, well, one, I don't think they would ever see it because maybe they don't want to. Maybe they're just, it would make other people's, this connection would make other people's connections feel very insecure. Let's put it that way, because you're willing to speak to each other. Let's go ahead and get cards for person A though. You can flip these around if you feel the need to do so within this particular section. But person A, what do we got going on? We've got the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, any feelings of insecurity, any feeling of lack within this connection, we're no longer dealing with that. That has been let go. If for whatever reason there has been something in this connection that made you feel, or made person A feel like they weren't enough, I feel like they've let that go. We have, yeah, The Page of Swords. It's interesting how this particular reading is telling me to read the pages, because the pages typically mean, you know, beginner energy or something very new, something that is inexperienced. The fact that they're reversed, it's like we're past that. We're past the inexperience. We're past the initial feeling of being this way. I feel like person A has made it a point to communicate better as well. Like person A now knows how to communicate with their person. We have the Hierophant. Yeah, this is karmic lessons. Not only that, but this connection was meant to teach you a lot. This connection was meant to bring you two together in a way where you were meant to learn much from each other. In fact, the Hierophant, some people see the Hierophant as the marriage card because it has the Pope and the two people there. I don't typically see it that way. I see it more as the traditions that are passed on, and by tradition I mean like the lessons of our lifetimes, you know, passed down to each other from your past life to your current life. That's how I personally have been told to read it. But I still do see the original meaning, or like a more traditional meaning here, of marriage. I feel like person A has a lot of commitment on the brain when it comes to this connection, but also the need to learn, or maybe not a need, but the acknowledgement that there is much to learn from this. We have Justice reversed. We have Four of Pentacles reversed. There's a lot of detachment here. It's kind of like because you love each other, you decide to let each other go. And that could either mean giving each other space, or like I said, holding the space for each other to heal. Which means that you're not holding them by the hand when they're healing. You're giving them what they need, whether that's just love, support, space, or whatever. The, you know, basic knowledge on how to overcome whatever is holding them back. We have this is the Fool reversed. This is that new beginning, but it's kind of like a very conditional new beginning where if things are to go good in this connection, if things are to go well, if the commitment is to blossom, there has to be a lot of revising certain things within this connection. And it feels conditional because it has to be, because I feel like in the past, somebody here has hurt somebody, or somebody didn't approach something the proper way that needed to be approached. But because the love is so strong here, you're willing to make that work. Let's go ahead and get another card. Last card for person A. We have the Divine Feminine. I'm not surprised. Person A was giving me very strong Divine Feminine vibes. I'm being told not to take this one reversed, because it's kind of like, I think in the past, person A was giving far too much to person B, or to this connection, to the point that it was making them unbalanced here with Justice reversed. That's why I had to wait for this one to be clarified, because I feel like when they approached this connection originally, they were doing far too much. They were giving too much. They were bringing all of their love, and person B wasn't ready for all of their love. But person B really enjoyed and needed that love to begin with, because there is love here. Like, it's plain and simple. Even if you've never said this out loud, even if you've never acknowledged it, there is definitely a love here between you and person B. And person B, like I said, they just weren't ready. So therefore, I feel like person A, in giving so much of themselves, really upset their own energetic balance when it came to this connection, because they saw somebody who with, well, one, potential, definitely potential, two, the willingness to rise up to the occasion, whatever that was. It's like person A saw somebody who was willing to be with them. And I feel like, I don't think it was love at first sight, at least not from person A, oddly enough. I just feel like it was love at first energetic contact, whatever that may be. It could easily be that person A saw person B in a dream, or they felt them before they saw them. I know that sounds weird, but person A does feel like somebody who would be very energetically literate, and because they are able to read energy, they can feel things before they happen. And I feel like they felt person B's presence before they even knew them. So when the meeting came along, when they finally met, it was just like, I know you, or I've seen you before, I know who you are. I feel like they both had that kind of conversation or realization. It's like, I'm hearing, are you from here? Do I know you? That's what I'm hearing. But of course, it's probably the case that there weren't, because there were certain factors that made it that made it very obvious that they weren't. Like maybe you thought you'd met each other previously, but then you find out that you actually went to very different schools, or you were born in different places, or, you know, this person wasn't here this year, so it's not possible. I am getting that very strongly from this pile. Like there was a soul recognition, if you will. Let's go ahead and move on to person B's cards. I want to see what's going on with them. I do see something positively progressing forward with this connection though. So person B, we've got the Star. Look, everybody is rooting for person B. Everybody is rooting for person B and whatever they've got going on. That's for sure, because there's a lot of hope within them. We also have the Lovers reversed. Like I said, they acknowledge that there is love here, but they don't know if they are ready. We have the Queen of Wands. I mean, this could easily be person B in that they are a very attractive person. They quite literally have a lot of attention, a lot of admirers as well. They definitely light up a room. But it could also be how they view person A. Like this could easily be a particular card that is mirrored in both of these piles, in both of these people. Because person A has the Divine Feminine, but person B has the Queen of Wands. And the Empress, Divine Feminine, is really just all the queens put together. But even though this came out reversed, I mean, it could easily be that person A feels that they are lacking their Divine Feminine, and person B happens to be that. Or vice versa. Let's get more cards for person B. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Person B is taking their time. The Knight of Pentacles, they are slow but steady progress. They are patience personified. I feel like it's so weird because to me the knights are somebody who do something. You know, the knights, they're always in movement. They're always progressing towards something. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest one. Bless him, he is the slowest one. And I feel like this is how either person A views person B, or how person B is acknowledging that they are. It's like, I know I'm a knight, but I'm the slowest one. And you're going to have to be very patient. Patience is needed for person B, and person B is patience personified, because I feel like person B wouldn't have that for, how do I say this? Because if they have patience, I feel like they're willing, no, what am I trying to say? Person B has a lot of patience, and because they have a lot of patience, they expect other people to have patience with them. That's what I'm seeing. Definitely a moon and an earth sign for person B. That's what I'm getting. We also have the Seeker of Wands. They just feel that they're not, next to the Queen of Wands, they feel they're not on par with person A, or on par with whatever this connection has to bring. There's like a lack of, either a lack of experience or a lack of having leveled up to person A's level, or even the level of this connection. We have the Four of Swords. So they're having to think a lot about this. Like this person will think about this until it's no longer a problem. And I think that's where the heart breaks. Because, let me get one more card. We have the World reversed. It's like they don't want things to end. But in their taking so long for something to come to completion, they don't realize that they're missing out on so much. Back of the deck, Three of Swords. And that's where the heartbreak is. It's the fact that person B is so indecisive, even though they know what this is, even though they know that, you know, there's a lot of beautiful things going on and people want to help them. It's very much one of those situations with person B where if like, you can't help them if they can't help themselves. You can't help them see something if they don't want to see something. And it's not that there isn't any love here. There is. It's just that they're so indecisive in so many ways. And I feel like that's how person A ended up giving more of themselves to person B than they were ready. And I don't even think it was a lot that person A was giving to themselves. I just feel that's how person B took it. It's like, you're giving too much and I'm not ready, because person B is not ready. They're taking their time to whatever it is that they are trying to do. They don't really like to see endings either. And they love the idea of this as a connection, but they're not ready for it. The Four of Swords is inaction. So I feel like even if this connection progresses forward, I feel like person B will continue being this slow-moving, inactive person, even though there's love. The Queen of Wands does let me know if they are viewing person A this way, that they might just be wanting to have person A around for whatever is going on physically, you know? Especially with the Page of Wands. It's like person B likes how person A looks with them, likes how person A makes them feel, loves the intimacy between the physical intimacy between them and person A. So they would keep person A around for this. And I think at some point they know it's not fair for them, because justice reversed here, there's a sense of unfairness. And I'm like, why was that coming along? Because even person B would acknowledge that it's not fair to keep person A waiting. But at the same time, they don't want, it would break their heart to see person A with anybody else, but they're going to have to see that if they keep up with this not making up their mind mentality. And I see this a lot in certain relationships, especially long-term ones. You know, there are people out there who have been with their partners, engaged to their partners for years and years, and they don't take that step to finally, you know, commit, marry, whatever it is that's going on next. They don't take that step. But I do see this connection progressing forward. I just don't know if you're both going to get what you want out of this. Even though there's love here, even though there's a lot of love, person A would have to give up the feeling that they need to commit, especially with this marriage card here with the Hierophant and the Justice reversed. And person B would have to really step up to the plate and give a lot more to person A, like give commitment, give dedication, heal where they need to heal. I feel like they're actually okay with the healing part. They're willing to do that. But the world reverse, it's kind of like they themselves don't know who they're going to be once they heal. They themselves don't know where this particular world is going to be once, you know. There's a weird sense of finality with person B. That's the weird part. Like they feel that there has to be an end, or there has to be some sort of outcome, when the truth is that like relationships don't need an outcome. There just needs to be, you know, consistency and dedication toward each other. I'm gonna go ahead and do like a progression of this connection. So where will this go? I do see it progressing forward, but I want to see more specifically where we're going forward with this. So we have the Ace of Swords. Yeah, fresh new start for sure. A new mentality towards this connection as well. We have death and rebirth reversed. So it's kind of like if there was an ending, we're reviving this. If there's talks of an ending, it's going to be very hard. Like I said at the beginning, there's like an all or nothing kind of mentality here. Either we progress this forward or we leave each other alone forever. Because, yeah, King of Pentacles. This is meant to be something stable and solid. It has the potential to be. It has the potential to be. This Knight of Pentacles would have to become the King of Pentacles should it progress forward. And I do believe person B will level up in some way. They're going to have to. I think even without this connection, they're going to have to, because this is kind of like the universe telling person B, hey, it's time to wake up and get up to a new level. I feel like for a lot of you, your person is person B, by the way, pile 2. So I hope this isn't, I hope you're not taking this too personally, because I feel like I'm talking a lot about person B needing to level up and be the person they need to be. But yeah, person B is gonna be forced to grow, because person A has already done their growth. They already know where they've given too much. They've already stepped back and are allowing the universe to handle the situation. We have strength, overcoming obstacles. I feel like you will both overcome obstacles, again, regardless of whether you are together or not. And the last card, we have the Six of Wands. There is success in this connection regardless. There is success here. I feel like you're both very much people who focus on success and triumph and overcoming obstacles. You both believe in progress and forward momentum. You both believe in bettering yourselves. But I think one is just a little bit more focused on other things than the other. And I think you both believe in bettering yourselves in different ways. Person A in a much more spiritual sense, or energetic sense, not just, physically, but also in every aspect. Person B, I think they have to take one modality at a time, and that's what slows them down. Like they may focus on their physical health first, and then their financial health, and then their appearance, and then the last thing would be energetically or spiritually. And I feel like if they focused more on that energetically, physically, mental part of themselves, it would actually help everything else more. But because there's a sudden fear, or like this, a little bit of a fear within them to acknowledge that part of themselves, they're not willing and ready for them. Also, I'm getting very randomly, and this is not for everybody, something about their parents and their parents' marriage is coming to the forefront for person B, and that's another thing that is coloring their perspective on relationships. Back of the deck, 10 of Cups, but it's reversed, letting me know that, again, this is a very big if. This could be everything. But because there's a lot to overcome with each other, it may be like you will have your happily ever after, but it will be much further in the future. And I don't know who here is in a hurry to do that. I guess it's up to you, pile 2. But I do see progression forward with you and your person, because there's just a lot of love, undeniable love. But let's go ahead and move on to some closing advice. And this is should you accept it as well. If you don't like this, if you feel like you're just on that side of like, yeah, let me just cut it off, I think you can. But you will, I feel like you'll always be thinking about this person, or you may come back and wonder where this person, should you part ways, like, you know, how they are doing. Because I feel like it's never really over between the both of you. Let's go ahead and get your cards. I'm hearing something specific. I don't know who this is for. It's like, because I've met you, I will now know of your existence and I will always wonder about you, should you part ways. Okay, so pile 2. Love is the same as like, except you feel sexier. Judith Viorst, Love and Shrimp. Yeah, it's like you both like each other. You both love each other. And there's something to be said about spicy time here as well, because I feel like person B is really all for that. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if the only reason they're keeping this connection alive is for the physical intimacy, which makes me want to, like, you know, it makes me want to smack person B. It's like, really, that's it? You don't acknowledge that there's something else? And maybe they do, but like, you know, it's that immaturity. They're still very much, you know, a hot-blooded human person. He was my cream and I was his coffee. And when you poured us together, it was something. Josephine Baker. Yeah, again with the 18 plus messages here. Because, I mean, I'm hearing Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. And it's possible that maybe both of you have very different backgrounds as well. Because Josephine Baker, I think she was with a lot of white men and she was black. In fact, race issues were a big thing in her career because she had to flee the US and go to Paris to make it big there because they didn't have as many prejudices over there at that time. But there could be something very drastically different about your backgrounds. It doesn't necessarily have to be race. It could be socioeconomic. It could be maybe age or generational difference, something along those lines. But there is something just a little bit taboo about your connection. And maybe this is part of the reason person A or B, maybe both of you, maybe one of you has some sort of like hard time coming to accept this connection. Also a lot of pink, which I will give my thing on pink and blue. I know you and adore you in all your ways, your quirks, your imperious demands, your extraordinary gift of yourself, Henry Miller. You both know each other very well, inside and out. You find it very easy to know each other. Again, because there was like a soul recognition when you met each other. The pink and blue is letting me know that there's some sort of fertility here. So if you do not want to have children with this person, take precautions. Because I feel like pink as an aura, whenever people read a pink aura in a woman or anybody with a womb, a uterus, then it usually, not always, means fertility. Like, it's that glow that they get. At least that's what I've been told from people who read auras a little bit more proficiently than I do. I read energy, not auras. Though sometimes I see auras. It's not often. I try. So pile 2. Let's get your last cards. We have perspective. What does a hawk see when it flies over your house, besides the family of mice living nearby that you don't know about? What will your current problems, conflicts, complaints look like when you're 80 years old and you gaze back on the timeline of your life? In this moment, you are being given the gift of clear perspective, of knowing that in the end, everything is going to be probably much better than okay. Think large enough and even big issues become small. Become an 80-year-old hawk and you're really onto something. So I feel like, especially for person B who's taking their time, I think when they look back at this, they'll realize not how much time they wasted, but how much anxiety was wasted over this, you know? I don't think the time was wasted, but I think their worries were. Same thing with person A. If they feel that, you know, person B is taking far too much time, they'll look back at this and be like, well, I'm glad I waited, you know, the extra 2-3 years for this, because it's something that was definitely worth it. Or worth overcoming, or worth learning from. Let's go ahead and get one more card. Honesty. This heralds a wonderful time of rooting yourself in complete and total honesty. It might seem scary to tell the truth all the time with everyone about everything, but when you practice radical honesty, you can stop hiding and start relaxing. The best part is honesty from you inspires honesty from others. What results is a root into and trust parade, and everyone's invited except the bagpipe players. Oh, that's mean to bagpipe players. Anyway, what I'm getting from honesty is, especially for person A, I think they've done a lot of healing in regards to honesty, and I mentioned this in another reading, but I'll mention it again. You do your intuition a disservice when you don't embrace honesty and truth. If you're afraid of the truth, then how can you be intuitive? And I feel like that's something person A has either had to overcome or something that they will overcome. Because how can you know the truth if you're afraid of it? Or how can you be honest and expect intuition to come through in an accurate way if you don't embrace either your own honesty or somebody else's? Because sometimes the truth can hurt, and sometimes the truth can be very hard to take. You know, it's truth is what it is, regardless of how you feel. Truth is what it is, regardless of what's going on. And I feel like person A has really had to come to terms with that, because they had the trust card on their side. But same thing with person B. In fact, I feel like honesty could be a big thing here between the both of you. Either you're very honest with each other, and sometimes that hurts, but at least you're honest with each other out of love, because when there's true love here, then there's also true honesty. Also, something about the colors, just because they're so in my face, I get a lot of heart chakra energy here. And the little bit of blue is that it's the truth coming through. It's that throat chakra. It's communication. I feel like you both speak with your hearts, whether you want to or not. You both speak a lot with your soul and your hearts. And I think that's the one thing you both love about this connection, and why it's so hard to let go, regardless of whether it's meant to go. Because again, it's all up to you. But this is where I leave it, my beautiful pile 2. I am wishing you and your person the very best. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 3. If you chose the agate moon, then we have a reading here for you for your connection. What is next in your connection? What is the next step? What is going to go on between you and your person? And this is mostly meant to be romantic, but if you want to take this platonically, you can. I feel like there were certain piles so far that could be seen platonically. So let's start with the oracles that you chose. These are going to be the connecting oracles, and then we're going to do this A and B style for your individual energies. We have the chicken nugget, number 24. We have reunion. This card stands for reunion with your friends and family. There is a feeling of harmony and celebration. Significant people from your childhood and or past lives could be coming back into your life for a particular reason. We also have clarity with number 1. And grizzly bear, power. I am indestructible. I honor my intuition and go where it leads. Love and gentleness are my real strength. I never give up. I will succeed. I'm hearing I will survive with the I will succeed. There is something really fun here, and I feel like this could easily be platonic, because for a lot of you, you're coming back together with this person to have a lot of fun and clarity. This would be like, if it is romantic, I feel like you guys have been together for so long that you're practically best friends. And like you're just excited to see each other or have time with each other again. Like this, if this is romantic, you've been together so long that you're basically each other's best friend. For some of you, if you used to be romantic and you're coming back together, I think you're friends. Like this could easily be like a baby parent. Like maybe you are on good terms with the parent of your child and therefore you are friends. I do see that a lot in my generation. And for some of you, this could easily be platonic. Like I said, there is something here about coming together to have a great time. Also to share food. So, I mean, I am filming this like a week before Thanksgiving in the US. So maybe for some of you, this is what is going on. But there is something about coming back together. Clarity and power are the key words here. Somebody is coming to you with information that is going to change and shape you in a particular way. It's going to shape your perspective. There's definitely some tea going on here, but the chicken nugget lets me know that this is not going to feel like tea. I feel like this could be a situation where you have a conversation with somebody, and that conversation reminds you of who you are. It reminds you of your own power. It gives you the clarity on yourself or a situation, especially with reunion. Let's go ahead and get into the piles though, or into the people. And you can decide to be whichever side you want to be here, pile 3. You can be person A or B. But yeah, this could easily be any type of connection for this pile. So we have expressive for person A. Yeah, I was getting music. Maybe some of you are doing karaoke. Or maybe just the playlist is going to be... The playlist is going to be fire, that's for sure. Person B, we have devoted. You know, it's interesting. This came out in a different pile. And if you're coming from that pile, I think this is just going to be... there could be something about the situation in that pile that you will be discussing with this person or within this situation. Back at the deck, psychic. So there's definitely psychic activity going on here. The way I'm being told to describe this, either both you and your person are very psychic together, or like intuitive hints will come through in this particular reunion. It's like divine orchestration for you to get some sort of information from this. I get this a lot. Because psychic ability isn't always just you hearing things from the universe. Sometimes it's the universe sending the right people to tell you the exact thing you need to hear at the right time. And I feel like that's what's going to go on in this particular situation. This could also be, this isn't everybody, but this could also be like an energetic or psychic healer that gives you a lot of information. I've had readings like that before where I channeled like a mentor in readings, and I'm like, this sounds like something I'm gonna go through because yeah, I seek out psychic and or energetic healing mentors from time to time. Well, let's go ahead and get the rest of your cards. For person A, we have Mouse and Buttercup, Innocence. For person B, we've got the Hound and Pear, Loyalty. Very interesting energy. Look, person B is very devoted and loyal. Whatever's going on with person B, they are a ride or die. They are very much a commitment. Commitment is their kink, let's put it that way. They very much care about a lot of things. Like, I'm getting a little bit of serious energy, but that's not to be mistaken as like, they're just very devoted. That's all I'm getting from person A. Person B, though, they're very fun. There's something, either they're younger or they're just not afraid of expressing themselves. It's very sweet. This could easily be a parent and a child as well. Like, especially if it's a parent and a child that really like talk to each other about their feelings and emotions, which, you know, lucky them, because I feel like not everybody gets that. Let's go ahead and get the Lover's Oracle. Or it could be friends with a large age gap. I get that sometimes. Shout out to those who have friends that are both 10 years younger and 10 years older than them. I have more friends with age gaps than anything on both sides. So, person A. We have this one. Embrace. Through each other, you find the missing pieces. It's interesting that all this blue coloring is coming from person A. I feel like person A is the one who's going to be doing either the most talking or reaching out about this particular situation. They could have found out something about person B that might be important that they need to tell them as well. And then for person B, we have this one. Playfulness. Laughter is the best therapy. Have some fun together and remember, love is the greatest healer. Yeah, I feel like you and this person are going to have a lot of fun. You both are going to have a lot of fun. But at the same time, it's like you have fun while spilling the tea. Let's put it that way. And I kind of like this. There was another reading where I had a similar vibe going with this kind of energy. Let's get the last of your cards though. And like I said, if you're already in a romantic connection with this person and they are like your best friend, you're going to have a lot of fun here. So for person A, this is Essential Magic Oracle, but like I said, if this is not romantic and it's more platonic, then you don't have to take some of these cards. We have, so for person A, we have Leaving, and I have to absolutely censor this. There's a whole titty hanging out. But we have Leaving. This is the Sun and Capricorn. So the time of Capricorn could be important. It could also be that person A may be leaving, and this is why you both decide to get together for like one last time to hang out or something along those lines. Or maybe they're visiting. I could also see that. Like person A is visiting, but they also have like stuff to say. It could also be that person A left behind something else, and that would explain the Innocence card here. I feel like they left something and now they are a new person. They are a changed person. And then for person B, we have Harmony 28. And this is Venus energy in general. And should I censor this? She's got booty crack, but I don't know. I don't know if I can show that. Let's just do that. Lots of like orangey red on person B side. There's a lot about their sacral energy, maybe even their root chakra energy going on. Let's focus on person A though, because I feel like they instigate this. They instigate the conversation, the outing, the something here. It could be because they're in town that they have to talk about this. And yet, oddly enough, there is something here about the missing pieces within each other. I feel like you could both be going through very similar situations, and through talking to each other, you heal something within each other, or you clarify something within each other about your respective situations. For example, these could be like two friends that are on opposite sides of the globe, but you're ironically enough going through the same thing. For example, within a romantic relationship, or with your within your work situation, your families, whatever the case may be, you are experiencing something very similar, even though you are on opposite sides of the globe. I know this because I've spoken with people on all over the world, and somehow, ironically, we end up going through something similar. I get that a lot with clients, and I get that a lot with like friends from, all over, how we just happen to be going through the same things. So there's something here about person A being able to give a particular perspective to person A because they have a new perspective, a new innocence about it. They have a fresh mindset, but also in leaving something behind, they recognize where they have been holding on to something a little bit too much, or where they have given far too much of themselves. With embrace, I am thinking of something here, because look at how they are holding each other here. I mean, you could easily see this as person A and B holding each other, but I'm seeing it more as person A having held on to something for so long, and in letting it go, they're getting a new perspective. And now person B is very, it's interesting that the devoted and loyalty is coming through, and yet they have this lovely playfulness to them. I feel like person B is somebody who really hides who they are behind a mask of like either humor or comedy, or even this harmony card. They like to smooth things over and not really talk about their problems. So when this particular subject pops up, I think it surprises person A that person B is going through this, because it would seem to person A that person B would actually never go through something like that. Because I am seeing both of you going through something rather difficult. Whether it be a romantic relationship, maybe we're talking in, this is getting a little meta. Maybe the situation you came to talk about is actually something that you're both going to talk about here. And if so, you could go to a different pile to see what that particular connection, where that's going to go. Because here it seems like you're both talking about the same connection. And I guess in the tarot, we'll figure out what both of you are needing to hear about the connection and where it's going. Because right now it seems like a friend energetically intervened within your regularly scheduled tarot reading. And they were like, let's talk about our individual energies here. Because it seems like you are both on different sides of whatever's going on. Because person B, on this side, very loyal, very devoted, very playful and harmonious. They seem, on paper, a perfect person, to the point where person A would wonder what person A did, or what was going on, or what went wrong. Because person B is really good at hiding certain situations. I mean, look at this picture. She's looking in the mirror toward this man as she is putting her hair up. It's like she looks in the mirror and there's the person on her mind, or there's the person that she's been seeing, maybe even somebody she's been seeing in secret in some cases. And over here we have this woman, and she's crying over a man, presumably the one that is hanging up on a picture here. And it's like, if you look at this, they're very similar in that they're both thinking about somebody, maybe somebody that they can't get over, or somebody who really is on their mind for whatever reason. That's what I'm seeing for the both of you. Grizzly bear, I mean, you can make the joke here, choosing the bear over choosing the man or whomever. But there is this feeling here that you are both, you're both gaining clarity through each other about this particular situation, and you're doing it in a playful manner, because both the mouse, the hound, this little doggy here, playfulness, and the chicken nuggets lets me know that there is a sense of humor here that is actually going to help the both of you. Like, it's not going to be a tough, heavy conversation. It's going to be something very light, very fun. It could even be over chicken nuggets, for all you know. Because even bears, when I think of bears, I think of how silly and playful they are. Even though grizzly bears, don't approach them. Please don't. They are very much, they're cute when they're little and they're fighting in the river over fish. That's what I'm getting. Like, this is a meeting of two souls going through something very similar. And when that kind of energy happens, there's a a very subconscious and understated healing that happens when two people who go through something similar come together to gain clarity about their situation, because they each bring their own perspective to something here. I just feel that person B was a lot better at hiding it, and person A, I feel like person A really looks up to person B, and that's why they initially go to them with for advice regarding a situation, but then it ends up that person B actually went through something similar, and they're like, well, if you couldn't overcome that, what chances do I have, is what person A would say. Numbers coming through, we have 0, we have 24, 12, 29, 19, 28, and 23. Interesting. Maybe somebody here is in their 20s and somebody here is in their late 20s. Like, I'm seeing like 19 to, what's the highest number? 29. So maybe there's a difference of 10 years here, or 10 something, 10 months for some of you. Like I said, shout out to those people who are friends with people who are, you know, 10 years older and younger than them, and or whichever is more appropriate. Also 12, maybe 12 is an important number. Oh, and 1, which makes me think of a completion. 1 through 12, I think of the signs in the zodiac. I think of the houses in astrology. So there's like a full circle here. The first house being that which everybody sees, and the 12th house being the subconscious, which typically tends to be something that we need to work through. It would be our karmic lessons, if you will, in this lifetime. So I feel like you both help each other come full circle. I'm going to get one more card from the Floriography deck before we move on. If this sounds like you and your person, if this sounds like something you want to hear about. And I don't know why this has been happening in my readings lately, where I do person A and B, but instead of talking about the subject matter, it's the two people who need to hear about the subject matter. Not sure why. So we'll tap into the tarot. I'm not even gonna guess what's gonna go on between you and this person. So we've got, what is this? Campanula, constancy. Campanulas represent constancy and gratitude, and are the perfect way to say, I have faith in you. Much like bluebells, they are sometimes planted on graves and carved into headstones to symbolize everlasting love, so that they can also be appropriate flower to give to those in mourning. The constancy and I have faith in you really makes sense here. It's like you both have faith in each other that you will overcome your own individual struggles here, and that you will both, I think because of the clarity that you give each other, you're really going to be able to help each other out here, to the point where you keep tabs on each other on what happens. But let's go ahead and move on to the tarot portion, if this sounds like something you want to hear about. If not, the other two piles were definitely about connections in a more classic way. This one just decided to get a little bit meta, and sometimes spirit likes to do that. It's like we're focusing a little bit too much on this. Let's focus on what the individuals need to hear and know. So we're doing the tarot similarly, A and B style, but I want to get connecting energies first to see what the subject matter at hand is between both you and this person. Other than that, your struggles are mirroring each other and that you both have information to give to each other. We have this is the Knight of Wands reversed. This is the Two of Cups reversed, a failed relationship for sure, or relationship troubles in general. I say failed relationship, but that's a little bit much. I feel like it's relationship troubles, specifically with somebody who is more non-committal. This could easily be an F-boy, F-girl, somebody who is very physical. We have Temperance reversed. This is about healing as well, or how to heal from this situation. And the Ten of Swords upright. I feel like this is really bothering the both of you. Let me go ahead and get a clarifier, but for a lot of you, this has something to do with either a situationship, like you both are in similar situationships or relationships, or with somebody who is focusing more on the physical aspects of a connection as opposed to the emotional or the communication or the commitment here. We have the Five of Pentacles reversed. You are both learning to value yourselves regardless of what happens within a connection. You're both learning to value yourselves, because it's kind of like you're not going to allow somebody to deduce you down, or reduce you down, I should say, to just a body to have, you know, just somebody to be there, somebody to be codependent on. Let's go ahead and see what person A has to bring to this. What's their situation? We've got the Eight of Wands reversed. I feel like typically person A moves on from people very quickly, but for whatever reason, they have a hard time with this particular situation or this person. We have, ooh, the King of Pentacles. Yeah, they want commitment, or they seek something a lot more stable than whatever it is that they have. We have the Sun reversed, and I feel like they've taken a blow to the ego because of this particular situation. We have the Two of Pentacles, balance. They're aware that they need balance. We have the Seven of Pentacles, and let me get more cards for that one. For person A, the Queen of Wands. Yeah, I feel like person A has had a glow up. Like they've really been working on themselves and their self-esteem because they're aware that somebody here made them feel less than. They're doing everything in their power to make themselves feel powerful again with the Queen of Wands. This could be maybe more on a physical way, like maybe they're hitting the gym or doing some sort of glow up, or, you know, stepping up their makeup and dressing style, whatever the case may be. And then we have the Lovers reversed. Yeah, I feel like something didn't work out romantically for person A. Let's see what's going on with person B. Person B has a harder time talking about this. I feel like they're going to let person A divulge all their information. Not because they want to, it's just because person A is finding it hard to say anything about this. Yeah, we have the Six of Cups reversed. They're afraid that they're going to be perceived as immature, or there's something a little shameful about their situation. We have, they have the Wheel of Fortune. It's called the Fates in this particular deck, which lets me know that person B understands the power of fate, and when fate brings them something, they don't run away from it. They kind of face it head on. Person B, again, very immature energy. That loyalty and devotion, they not only are they loyal and devoted to the people in their life, they're loyal and devoted to their spirit, their connection to source. They're loyal to spirit. They're devoted to their spiritual progress. We also have the Five of Wands, the Ace of Cups. And person B really brings in a new perspective, because the Five of Wands, to me, it's an interesting card because a lot of people see it as like, you know, violence or agitation or just like a lot of stuff going on. The way I'm seeing it is that person B sees this as necessary struggle. They see it as, you know how when you work out, it's like unnecessary movement and unnecessary struggle of the body, but when you're done with it, it's too, you know, you feel good because you've let out some steam, you've strengthened your muscle, and you've done something here to like release. I'm hearing somatic exercises. To them, person B, the Five of Wands is emotional release through the physical body. I could easily see it as dancing as well. Person A understands the need of a struggle in order to release some sort of trauma. And I'm not necessarily saying through fighting. I'm saying more through like maybe walking or, again, hitting the gym. Maybe they both meet each other at a gym or something like that. Or something along those lines. Like person B understands and knows their lot in life. They understand that when they are served something, they're meant to learn from it, and they don't back away from it. Five of Wands is very much confrontational energy. We have the Seeker of Swords reversed. This is the Page of Swords reversed. Like I said, person B has a hard time talking about this. And I feel like there's a little bit of shame. There's a little bit of them not wanting to know. They don't want people to know about their problems. But because person A has been so forward with their story, they can't help but also want to provide information to person A or to give them some advice. And the way they have to do this is by explaining their situation. Because there's a reluctance on person B's part. Oddly enough, I feel like they make a friend with this person, if they're not already a friend. Lots of cards for person A. We have Divine Masculine reversed and Justice reversed. This is Emperor and Justice reversed. Yeah, there's like some masculine energy that was wronged here. It could be their own masculine energy that maybe they misused, or it could be a divine masculine, not a divine masculine, a masculine energy in general. I'm not going to call it divine right away, though it may have been. That didn't treat them well, or they thought somebody would be their emperor and they weren't. Let's get one more card. The person they are talking about, though, whoever this Emperor energy is somewhat to be somebody of importance. I guess we might figure that out, why, or something along those lines. And yeah, they're the Empress. I think person A might even know who this person is, especially if person B was known for being part of a couple, like a very well-known couple, or somebody who, you know, like they just knew who this person was. They could have been in the public eye. They could have known something here about person B. So when they find out that person B had troubles with their partner, I feel like person A was very shocked because they thought that they had a lot of that they had good chemistry, that they had good compatibility, that, you know, that things were okay with them. Another way of seeing this is that person A could be very shocked by who their divine masculine was, if person who their partner was, who person B's partner was, if, you know, person B was keeping them secret. There's something just a little bit very interesting about person B. Like I said, they don't talk to many people about this with the Page of Swords reversed. They don't seek this out, but I feel like they had no choice but to tell person A, just because they really wanted to help person A and what they were going through. I don't think they had the same person, though. I'm not getting that at all. So I'm not seeing, you know, this isn't one of those cases where the friend is like, oh, you go with this guy too? Well, tell me about them. This is not that at all. It's just comparison here between their situations. And I'm going to stop this here because I'm almost out of time on my camera, and I will continue this later, but hopefully I keep this energy because I really want to dive deeply into what it is that you were both speaking about and what you can gain from this. Okay, so we're back. It is quite possible that both person A and B, you could see a little bit of yourself in both of these pile 3, because what I was getting as I was rewatching the video, because I forgot how meta this got. Like, it's not... It doesn't feel like what's going on next in this connection. It's more like two people talking about their own their own respective connections and what to do going forward. Like, you each came to either some clarity or for some advice regarding this. Because like I said, we have the 5 of Pentacles reversed here. So there is this need to value the self. More so on person A's part, just because person A gives me the energy of them being a little bit less experienced in this regard. Meanwhile, person A, either they have more experience or they've actually been, because the Emperor and Empress cards here, particularly with the Emperor reversed and the Empress upright, makes me think of whether they were divorced or separated from their particular person. Because what's underneath it? Yeah, Justice reversed. In fact, way back when, I was taught to read Justice kind of sort of as the marriage card, but reversed it would be like, yeah, a divorce here. So I feel like person B definitely broke up with somebody that I think everybody thought they would be with for a long time, or that they thought, you know, I mean, they were definitely faded. I feel like any divorce, any relationship in this lifetime can be faded, but person B is kind of like, they're figuring this out themselves. With the Ace of Cups, it's like they themselves also don't know how to handle this, and they wish they did to provide some advice towards person A. Because what I see is that person B is having an easier time carrying on with feeling a sense of self-respect here. The Empress upright is somebody who really values themselves, and maybe this is something that they're teaching person A, is how to value yourself after somebody has hurt you, how to value yourself after a connection has ended. The 6 of Cups reversed is so interesting to me, though. It's almost like I keep hearing shame or like an immaturity. Like person B doesn't like the fact that they have to talk about this. They feel like it's possible that person B has some sort of trauma regarding divorce or separation as well, especially from their childhood, whether it was their own parents or even like the couples around them, if it wasn't specifically their parents. Because sometimes, you know, people who have older siblings who divorced, or aunts and uncles who divorced, or even, I'm hearing teacher for some of you. Maybe a teacher went through a divorce and had to witness what that teacher became as a result. And because that person looked up to their teacher from as a young kid, you know, I feel like that messed with their psyche. That's really interesting. I never thought to see it that way. But sometimes it's just the adults around us that we surround ourselves with that can really impact and affect the way we look at life and relationships and marriage, etc. So I feel like person B has become very vulnerable when it comes to this, and I feel like they didn't expect to talk about it with person A. Or even if they did, if they're very best friends and they tell each other everything, I think person B wanted to keep up this image to person A of how great things were going. If they're not divorced, they could be contemplating a divorce. If they're not, it could just be again a separation, some sort of imbalance within this connection. Person A, though, like I said, I feel like, what do we have here? The Queen of Wands and the King of Pentacles. I just feel like they're in the same boat. But as to where person A, I feel like is either very new to the situation, or the situation literally just happened to them. It could also be that they're looking at it very surface level. Person B has gone very deep with it. I feel like person B, again, because they don't speak a lot about, they speak about it a lot. They think about it a lot. So they've had to really psychoanalyze themselves in the situation and what's going on. I do want to get cards for, I want to see, well, one, where your connection as friends is going, like what conclusion you will come to, or whether this is going to shape your own connection here, like your friendship. So we have the Seven of Swords reversed. Yeah, lots of secrets being spilled, lots of secrets being spilled. We have the Awakening, Judgment reversed. Again, it's like you don't know where to go from here. Like you're both wondering what's going on. Maybe you're even contemplating this state of relationships in general. We have the manifest. This is the Magician reversed. There's just a sense that you don't know what to do. And maybe this is why you came here. It's like, well, what do we do? Or a feeling of powerlessness even. We have, this is a Tower moment reversed. There is something here where you both tell each other something that prevents you from doing it prevents you guys from doing something worse, or prevents like an outburst. It's like you give each other just the right words or piece of advice that prevents your respective heartbreaks or your connections from getting worse. It's like maybe somebody here gives really great advice about what to do or what not to do in a connection. I feel like it's mostly person B to person A. Let's get another one. Four of Cups reversed. I feel like you'll eventually let this go. You will let go of your... Okay, I see it now. You will let go of your heartbreaks by being friends with each other and talking about it. It's kind of like you give each other free therapy by talking about your respective situations. Because person B, it's kind of like I said, they don't talk to many people about it, but when they talked about it with person A was very accepting and very understanding of the situation. And in speaking about this, you both help each other out with this. So instead of, sitting there with your heartache, you go to each other and it's like, hey, how you doing? Or how's it going with your person? Or how are you taking the heartbreak? Or it's like, maybe you go out for drinks a lot as well. Not literally, maybe it could be, I don't know, maybe Starbucks. You go out and have a great time, because the Four of Cups lets me think of going out for drinks. So whether it's at the bar, whether it's at the cafe, you just decide to like really lean on each other during this particular time. And I feel like that's really lovely. I would hesitate though, with the Judgment reversed and even the Seven of Swords reversed, to not create a trauma bond with this person. Do find other ways of relating to each other other than your perspective heartbreaks, because that's where toxic friendships can come about. It's like if you both keep each other in misery, it could easily become something negative. But I feel like you wouldn't do that, just because the oracles are giving me very positive vibes. I feel like you will each hold each other accountable for bettering yourselves, or even helping each other get over a very deep situation. And then I want to see what's going to go on with your prospective relationships. I'm going to pull 3 cards for each one. So person A, we've got the Queen of Swords reversed. Okay, so person A has this habit of like either arguing, or I'm hearing talking trash, or just whenever they talk to their person, it's never a good conversation, because I feel like they have an anger about them. With the Sun reversed, their ego was hurt, so of course they find it hard to find the right words if it's not, you know, a harsh communication, it could easily be a lack of communication. Like they don't want to talk because they know if they talk, it's not going to be great. That's what I'm also getting. You've got Eight of Swords and the King of Wands. I feel like person A has to be careful that their person, described here by the King of Wands, doesn't take control of the entire situation. Because the Eight of Swords is that one card where, you know, hands are tied behind your back, and then the blindfold is on and there's swords everywhere. I feel like person A has to be careful not to fall victim to whatever their partner wants them to be a victim to. They could easily be dealing with a manipulator or somebody who just took a lot of control over their life at one point, whatever the case may be. So they have to be careful with that. And I feel like that's part of the reason they keep quiet, or they find it difficult to not criticize their person. Then one last card for them. We have the King of Swords, which is so interesting because I could see this one of two ways. Either they go from the Queen of Swords reversed to the King of Swords upright. And I would just put the King of Swords a little bit more, I would put them one level above the Queen, and that they are completely in control. So I feel like there is definitely going to be some character development for person A, in that they're going to learn how to really speak up for themselves. They're going to learn how to say exactly the things that they need to say. Maybe it's because person B really empowered them, or they taught them how to do this, or, you know, they just find the strength and courage knowing that somebody else out there is going through something similar. But I feel like person A will learn how to properly communicate this. Another way I'm seeing this, though, I do see them finding their match. In the way that they think and in the way that they move about life. If we were to see person A as this Queen of Swords reverse, it's just a queen who is unfulfilled, and a king will come through to fulfill that because they are both in the sword suits. And then, of course, the last way I'm seeing it, a third one popped up as I said this, they could eventually find like the perfect lawyer, if they need a lawyer for this particular separation, if that is needed. I don't think that's for everybody, but that's for those of you who are going through a divorce and need that, or maybe going through a co-parenting situation, a baby mama, baby daddy situation where they need the proper legal advice. I feel like that could help out a lot. It is possible that person B could be the one providing legal advice as well, with the justice reversed here. Maybe they've gone through it. Let's go ahead and see what's going to come of person B. I wasn't expecting to read for two people in this pile, that's for sure. So we get a 2 for 1. Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So person B has some financial situation to deal with. It could be that they were left without much money, or maybe they were left without a particular asset, like, for example, a home, a car, or something along those lines within this connection. And it could be possible that these two people could become roommates. I could easily see that. We also have the Star, but there is a lot of hope for person B, because either they just, again, they really believe in their connection to the divine and they know that things will work out for them, or they could be in the public eye. And I feel like, I'm not saying that they're going to gain pity from the public, but like they know how to manifest money rather quickly from their audience, if that makes sense. I know that sounds weird, but because I'm seeing a what's it called, a Kickstarter, or a what's the other one, like where they just gain money from people around them very quickly. I don't know why that's coming through. Maybe they have resources, maybe they know people, but they draw a lot of good luck to them. And let's see, last card for person B. We have the 3 of Cups reversed. So I feel like they will not be very social anymore. I feel like they could easily step away from the public eye if they are in it. Or they could just, they might lose a lot of friends, because I feel like this particular person brought with them either a lot of friends or certain connections. But I feel like they gain person A as a particular friend. It's kind of like if person B had fake friends, they're going to lose them, because true friends stick around you no matter what happens. But I feel like they were surrounded by a lot of falsehood. That's for sure. Especially because I feel like that particular falsehood came with the person they were with. Because like I said, there's something here about being in a well-known couple, or a couple that like the community at large knows about. So they lose a lot of those connections, but not all of them. And I feel like they do end up gaining better ones. And then back of the deck, 6 of Pentacles reversed. Yeah, you both end up trying to balance this connection out, whatever this may be. or yeah, your respective connections out. But let's go ahead and move on to your closing advice. This has been a very interesting reading. And that's been happening a lot more lately, where I will start a reading and it's very clear that I am reading for two people at the same time. Which is odd because I try to make as many piles, but you know, there's only so many piles you can make and give them full attention. So we are using the I Am So Totally Into You deck, and I'll try to figure out who this message is from. For you, pile 3. We have sometime day breaks in my life, sometime the sun shines in my life, sometime things work out right in my life. You are my sometime, sweet honey in the rock, sometime. So I am getting that, like, for a lot of you, you feel very lucky to have met each other as friends and as people and to share your stories here. Like I said, if it does become a very strong friendship, I feel like you keep each other in check. Like, you want each other to do better. You're not just trauma bonding. You're not just, you know, sharing negative experiences. You are actually doing something about it. Yeah, sometimes things work out right in my life. And I feel like you both owe each other this for whatever reason. No strings attached. Your love is so Wi-Fi. Drake, beyond this. So I feel like this could be one of those connections. The friendship I'm talking about. This friendship could easily be one where you don't really, it's not, how do I say this? It's not high maintenance. Like, if you don't make time for each other, you're not going to take it personally. If one of you doesn't want to really go out, you know, drinking or doing something, you're not going to take it personally because you both understand that you're going through something. So I feel like there's a strong feeling of understanding between you and this person. Another way I'm seeing this, though, I feel like you could both be looking for just casual dates or casual encounters after this, because after having dealt with whatever you dealt, you're just ready to date on a more no strings attached kind of energy, which I think is fine. But I think, again, you will keep each other in check. It's like, if you go on dates, you're gonna talk to each other about it, and, like, you know, I kind of like this. I really like this connection, this friendship that you both are creating here. Let's go ahead and do the affirmators card. We have cleansing. Feeling bogged down by the weight of 1,000 thoughts, feelings, boxes of mystery, objects lurking in your closets? Consider this a prescription to clean house, mentally, physically, literally, figuratively, and anything else that applies adverbally. It's hard to make room for new connections and experiences when every bit of your emotional space is cluttered with psychic bric-a-brac. So enjoy a major guilt-free flush out, and not to worry, you can always find new psychic bric-a-brac in the metaphorical clutter section of Craigslist. So I feel like you could both use a cleansing, whether it's energetic or even literally just cleaning out your space. And maybe you will help each other with this. Maybe one of you is really good at, like, cleaning out the space and the other one is really good at, like, organizing. So maybe this is how you decide to spend your time together, is just, like, cleaning out your house. We also have wait and see. Thoughts love to wander into assumptions and race ahead to the future. But what if you told them to cool their jets and chill a sec? Today you get to put on your mental chatter on pause, to take a deep breath and simply wait and see how things play out before you let your mind run a marathon of imagined scenarios. Wait, and you'll see that waiting and seeing was a lot more productive than wondering and worrying. Insert inaudible sigh of relief here. So yeah, I feel like this is a connection where you very much wait and see what happens. You very much wait and see what's going to go on with your respective connections. I do see the both of you moving on. I feel like that's already been the case. But you also wait and see with each other. Like I said, I don't get the feeling of this being a high maintenance connection. I don't feel like you both are codependent on each other, because codependency is something that you've already learn to overcome in your romantic connections. So yeah, I kind of like this. But this is where I leave it, pile 3. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care. Hello there, pile 4. If you chose the selenite heart, then we have a reading here for you about what is coming up next in this connection. So this is meant to be, I did intend for this reading to be more romantic, but of course you could see it platonically. There were a few piles that felt they could be more platonic. But we're going to go ahead and look at the perspectives of you and your person, as well as the connection itself. And then we're going to go into the tarot to see where this connection is headed. We have the oracles first, so we're going to start with that for the vibe check to see if that sounds like you and your person. We have your connecting cards, and I think you got the most out of everybody so far. We have Loon, intuitive. Listen to the song in your soul. Trust your intuition as you have a way of knowing. Emerge from the busy life and seek more solitude. Recognize that you are unique and that you are loved. So your intuition is being called into play here. We have Luck, Lime, 31. We have the Life of the Party, 29. And then we got 3 of the Creative Love Oracle cards. We have In the Now. Being in the now is important for your love life at this moment. Release any expectations or worries about your future. Only in the now can you manifest and influence your current love situation. We have New Love. A new door to love will soon open for you. New love for you is on the way. This can also be a new phase in a relationship. Enjoy the excitement. And Building Blocks. This card is a sign that you will attract a solid relationship. Already established relationships will be more stronger. Both of you are laying out an honest, strong, and genuine foundation. For a lot of you, I feel like this is something new between you and your person. And there is something here about there's a lot of Jupiter energy with Luck in the Life of the Party. I feel like you and this person really like to have a good time, regardless of whether you are literally partying or just whenever you get together, you have a lot of fun. You may joke around a lot. I feel like you just enjoy each other's company. Within the Now and Building Blocks, I feel like Spirit is really advising you to take this slowly, to take it day by day, and to not rush into anything, especially for those of you who have had a habit of rushing into relationships or demanding demanding a particular status after a particular time. Because I know in the dating life that I happen to be a part of, people just really want to know, like, well, what are we within a week of talking to each other, as if that is enough time to figure out what two people could be. And I may be calling some of you out, but I'm also calling myself out and calling other people out, because I feel like it all depends here how long you've been talking to somebody and what's going on. But I feel like within this particular connection, do take your time. Take your time, establish a friendship. If there's no friendship, there's no point in anything. Anybody who can't give you a friendship and like a consistency with that friendship doesn't have what it takes to be a partner. I don't know who needed to hear that, but this is just reminding you. This is your big sis stuff reminding you that it helps to build a foundation here and to be in the now, in the moment with your person, whoever they may be. Intuitive here also lets me know that your intuition will guide you in the right way when it comes to this connection, because a lot of you have a very strong intuition to begin with. That's why you're here. That's why you're drawn to tarot. So let's go ahead and get your respective cards. So I'm doing this person A and B style, and you can decide who you are. Sometimes I feel like the viewer is better at doing this than me saying you're this one and you're that one. And then I'll get the comments saying, well, I feel more like the other one. So whoever you know you resonate with more, you can decide, because you will know. But let's go ahead and get cards for person A. Within this connection, we have manifesting miracles. Your dream is soon to become reality. Trust your heart and continue to follow its guidance. And this is what the image looks like. It's a tree with a heart. And there's something here about luck, manifestation, miracles. Life of the Party to me is just, I feel like whenever you decide to go out and have fun is when you actually, this is when you have the most amount of ability to manifest, if that makes any sense. Like, in having fun, in finding joy in life, you actually manifest and call to you the things that are meant for you. And I feel like this person is whom you called to yourself when you were out there living your life and having the best time. For person B, we have this person. Don't make decisions based on guilt or what you think you should do, for it is only in being true to yourself that you can be true to others. So person B, I feel like in the past at least, they've had this habit of saying yes to things just because they felt inclined to or because they felt like they needed to. Person B has this weird energy of making decisions based on what somebody else, how somebody else would feel. It's very much a people-pleasing kind of energy. So I feel like person B has to be careful within this connection to not just say yes to something because they feel the need to say yes to this connection or even to person A, because there is a big sense of both of you manifesting each other, but you've also manifested each other so that you could learn how to build a proper, healthy dynamic here, which is so interesting. I said this is a new love, so I'm getting the energy of two people who are trying to get to know each other. We also have, where are my cards? We're going to use this sensual magic. For person A. Okay, person A is hesitant on getting intimate, that's for sure. We have awareness. Yeah, I'm not surprised. So person A has awareness, which is the moon in Scorpio. I feel like either they have been physically used in the past and they kind of are very much over that, or they just have this very strong sense of awareness here when it comes to relationships and how people can be. It wouldn't surprise me if person A was very wary of person B and their particular tendency. Because I feel like, I don't know who would be more psychic here. I want to assume you both are, but I feel like person A is really good at seeing through people. Scorpio energy in general is really good at seeing through people. So I feel like they could easily see through person B, and maybe even this indecision that they may have, or the feeling that person B feels obligated to do things when they may not even feel like doing them. Let's go ahead and get another card for person B. We've got dreams, number 7, and this is the moon in Cancer. And if we were to read this more astrologically, this is actually very compatible. The moon in Cancer and the sun in Cancer and the moon in Scorpio. It lets me know that person B could have a little bit more of the masculine energy here, regardless of their gender. But with dreams, I feel like person B is a very dreamy person. Like, it's easy for them to escape into fantasy. It's very easy for them to even over-romanticize a situation here, or just romanticize it in general. It could be possible that person B has been having dreams about person A, but I don't get that as strongly unless person B is just very, very intuitive. But I am getting a sense here that person B has to be careful to not fall into the trap of delusion or deluding themselves, because person A is very much in control of their situation. Let's go ahead and get more cards for my pile 4. So person A, they have indecisive. You know what's ironic? I kept getting the feeling that person B is the indecisive one here, but yet we have indecisive for person A. And it is possible that person B's actions could make person A rather indecisive. If person B isn't being consistent with how they are acting, feeling, or what they are saying, it could make person A catch the indecisiveness that person B clearly has. Let's get a card for person B though. We have generous. It's interesting because I do see person B being very generous with their time and even their situation. I almost kind of wonder if this is what you are both seeing within each other though, because I meant these to be characteristics of the prospective people. So person A is seeing person B as indecisive, and person B is seeing person A as very generous, which would make sense because person A knows that they can manifest anybody at any time. I feel like they're really good at being able to find exactly what they want, and they're also very aware. So when it comes to person B, they're being very generous, either with their patience or with their ability to just wait them out somehow. Because with building blocks and in the now, I feel like they both are very aware of how connections can be. I think they're both also very tired of the dating scene, so maybe they're just trying a little extra hard for each other. Not to say that they are settling or anything. I just feel like there's definitely a connection here with the luck and life of the party and new love. I think they like the time they spend with each other. Back of the deck, we have loyal. It's interesting that it's reversed. I don't take reversals, but loyalty could be something that comes into question in this connection as well, as I think it comes into question in most connections, because you're wondering whether you both have the ability to be loyal here. And why that is, I guess, we both have had situations where people were not honest with you. Let's get the last of your cards. For person A, interesting, we have the Hound and Pair, loyalty. So yeah, person A is very loyal, or at least they value loyalty above all else. And I'm not sure if they've heard things about person B, but it does seem like it could be very possible that person A has some trust issues, and this is part of the reason that they've become very intuitive in relationships, because they no longer want to have to guess and wonder what people have going on whenever they're not around. I do feel that's more of a trauma response to connections as opposed to them doubting person B's loyalty. And then let's get card for person B. We have the quail and gooseberry, anticipation. You know what's interesting? I feel like I said, person B has this habit of like living in their head and idealizing things and saying yes because they feel the need to. And yet with anticipation, it's almost like they're looking forward to something here. Within the now, life of the party, anticipation, I feel like they're always in this weird energy of looking forward to the next time, of not completely being in the now, ironically. Because person B is either always in their head or wondering what they did, or it's just, it kind of comes through as a sort of anxiety where they don't know where they don't know how to be in the now, or they don't know how to respond. There's an indecisiveness here. It's very much sensory overload when it comes to either dating or even just person A in general, because where person A has this energy of being very decisive, of being very much in control, person B has a touch and go kind of approach to love. It's like, let's just see where this goes. Let's talk about this. So I could easily see why the building blocks card came through and why the in the now card came through, because it does seem that person A wants to have more building blocks and person B is more in the now. But I think this is where they both are at fault and where they could both meet each other in the middle, because with person B, being too much in the now prevents them from actually making decisions that are going to affect them going forward, or decisions that they may or may not regret from the past, looking back at the past. And then person A has this tendency of wanting to build when they don't even know if there is something there to build. Like I said, there's something here about being careful of demanding something right away when the time hasn't passed long enough for the both of them to make that decision. You're not going to be 1 week into a relationship and ask, okay, so where are we? It's been a week. And I know time is different for everybody and in every place, but personally, a week is a week. A week is not enough for people to know what they want out of each other. And maybe it is. Maybe people know right away. But I feel like these two are either complete strangers or they just don't know each other that well yet. It'd be different if it was friends, like you've known each other forever, or if you'd already known each other previously from a friend, like a group of friends or work or something. But I feel like these are just new people to each other. So luck is on their side that the universe brought them together and that they have a lot of fun with each other. But when it comes to making a decision of what this connection is, I feel like this is something that we're dealing with in this particular reading. So no wonder you came to this pile 4. No wonder you came to this reading. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, you could be either or. It all depends, because like I said, person B gives us this energy of not knowing where to go, not knowing what to do, and seeing person A is very generous and even patient with their time. And then person A is very much again, they know how to manifest, they're loyal, they're aware of their surroundings, they're aware of situations. You could easily be either or. And the anticipation card here is just, I feel like person B really lives for the energy of the moment, and person B lives for the energy of the moment, and person A is very they like something to be a little bit more concrete, not because they want something right away, but just because they like to know where they stand with people. But regardless, you guys have a lot of fun together and you're new to each other's lives. So let's go ahead and move on to, if this sounds like you and your person, let's go ahead and move on to the tarot portion of this to see where this connection is headed. What's next for your connection? And in the tarot portion, we're also going to do it A and B style just to keep the perspective going. But we're going to start with connecting energies. For pile 4, where is this connection headed? Let's Let's look at their connection first. I don't know why, but I've been having Mariah Carey's We Belong Together stuck in my head for a little bit. I don't know if that applies to this pile. Because the song itself is about missing somebody and regrets, but I don't know if this is what this particular pile is about. Because like I said, there's a new connection, there's new love. You could see it as a rebirth, like a new beginning in love, but I'm not really getting that as much. So for pile 4, we have the Hermit. Which is interesting because that's definitely not life of the party or in the now energy. Hermit is very reflective. And I feel like you're both becoming very, quote, quote, hermit-like about how you view this connection and that you are really becoming introspective here. We have the Manifester, the Magician. Yeah, I feel like either you both manifested each other or somebody here manifested this connection. And I'm not saying it was meant to be because the Magician knows exactly what they are doing. In fact, who had the manifesting card? Was it person A? But it doesn't necessarily have to be person A. It could be that somebody here manifested this connection, and now that they have it, they don't know what to do with it. And the person that was manifested, I feel like they feel confused because they don't know what to do about it. Let's go ahead and get more cards. We have the 5 of Pentacles, a feeling of lack. Somebody here isn't confident enough about this connection, or they don't know where it's going. They don't know where it's headed. And then we have the 5 of Cups. There is this worry that you may miss out on an opportunity with each other, though. Again, because either both of you are not used to, like, proper building blocks within a connection, or because there's something here where there's like a lack and there's like an imbalance. Let's call it an imbalance. Let's get one more card. Like, this could easily be a connection where one person is, instigating a lot more either dialogue, date situations than the other person. It feels rather one-sided because both the Hermit and the Magician are very isolated individuals, and that they both have to spend time on their own in order to do their craft. If you were to see the Hermit as the introspective side of the Magician, the soul searching that is done before they go on to manifesting, that's what I'm seeing this connection as. So there is very much an energy of you being both very individualistic within this situation. And then we have the Lovers. Yeah. This is so interesting because, well, I don't want to say anything yet about this because the Lovers would be a fated union here, especially with the Magician, especially with the Hermit. It's like if you were both in Hermit mode before, the universe brought you together in order to have a relationship or some sort of a connection here. If you were still dating, if you were still very casual, to have something here in order to learn something, because I'm kind of getting Hierophant vibes, because the Hierophant to me is it's karmic lessons, but I don't think the situation is necessarily karmic. Does that make sense? I think that's why it didn't come out, because they didn't want me to say that that particular wording. And also, for some of you, I guess the Hierophant means marriage. I've been getting that in this particular reading. I don't see the Hierophant as marriage. I see it as karmic lessons, but I guess somebody didn't want... Somebody here... the universe is like, don't misinterpret this, is what I keep hearing. And I'm trying, universe. But let's go ahead and get person A's cards. So we have the 2 of Cups. Yeah, person A is definitely the one who either manifested or instigated or did something for this connection. Like, this connection is a thing because of person A. We also have the Ace of Cups reversed. Okay. You know what? This is literally giving me, it's like I offer you my cup, but then the Ace of Cups reversed, it's like, no, wait, I kind of take it back. So it could be, it could be very much that person A and B were flip-flopped here, by the way, if you feel like doing that. Because that is a little bit indecisive, but also we did have indecisive on person A's part in the Oracle. So it could be, like I said, there's something about this connection that is making you both indecisive. We have the Queen of Wands reverse. Person A is holding back. Person A, I think, is typically a lot more forward in relationships. They either take charge or they're a little bit more There's a little bit more va-va-voom to them in relationships in general, but they're not doing this here. And I feel it's like because in the past they've tried being the Queen of Cups the Queen of Wands upright, and it didn't work for them. So I feel like they're tailoring their expectations and the way they handle themselves for this connection. So as a result, she is a Queen of Wands that has muted herself or has like really scaled back how she typically goes for relationships here. Yeah, we have Divine Feminine. This is the Empress reversed. Person A has had a lot to do with scaling back either their expectations or views or performance of femininity within a relationship. And that kind of breaks my heart, honestly. It's kind of like either they were too girly in a relationship and now they're trying to be the opposite, or they were not girly enough, so they are trying to be more girly. And I know that sounds weird, but I'm literally hearing that as like expressions of femininity and not just, you know, feminine energy. I'm being told expressions of femininity here. Because, believe it or not, I think out of all the queens in the tarot, I want to say the Queen of Wands would be the most feminine. It's between her and the Cups. I think the Queen of Wands expresses herself physically as more feminine because of how she would dress and how she would approach things. But it's kind of like, it just doesn't... I'm thinking of like a Venus and Aries energy where like Venus and Aries is very, you know, demanding and forward and just very in your face, and people don't see that as very feminine, but that's how Venus expresses herself in the sign of Aries. I say this as having that as well, so I understand this. It's like scaling things back so that they don't come off as the wrong form of feminine for person B or for relationships in general. Regardless, there's been some sort of energy where person A has had to reevaluate their Empress energy, their feminine energy. We also have the 10 of Swords reversed. And if person A is a man, like a straight man, then this would be somebody who, again, they've had to really... I don't want to say they just have interesting views on women and femininity. Like, it could be they used to have very traditional views and now they're kind of having to flip-flop them, or there's something here where they're trying to be something they're not. Regardless of gender here, when it comes to feminine energy, somebody here is trying to be or trying to think in a way that they typically don't. And I think that's what's blocking this connection. 10 of Swords reversed, though, they're done with suffering. It's like, I'm not going to suffer in dating anymore. I'm just going to go with the flow. I'm just going to do whatever's, you know... I'm just going to move on. Yeah, we have the 6 of Swords reversed. I feel like person A took a break out of dating and now they're coming back and now they're just like... This is so weird. Let me get one more card. We have the Chariot. I think person A was trying to heal from something in the past, and as a result, they feel that they have to be everything that is not really authentic to themselves. I'll be honest. I feel like they think that they have to be something that they're not in order to attract somebody. Or even if they're not consciously aware of this, I think they are doing this without realizing. They're trying to be something they are not in order to attract somebody. Because either they're just tired of dating or they just want, like, they definitely want a connection. But I don't know if they even want love, because the Empress reversed, the Ace reversed, the Ace of Cups reversed, they're going about this situation the wrong way. And that's what's going to prevent them from moving forward. With this person and with anybody, honestly. Let's go ahead and look at person B. There is such a reluctance for these cards to shuffle. Like, I'll be honest, for pile 4, if you just don't feel like dating, then you don't have to date. But maybe you want to, and that's where, like, you kind of... I don't know. Okay, let's get person B's cards. You have the 8 of Wands. You have the 2 of Wands. We have the 7 of Pentacles. Oh, geez. Okay, so I'll tell you right away, person B doesn't like having to put in that much effort. Why is there a reluctance with these cards? What, like, the way I'm shuffling them, they keep hitting each other. We have the sun upright. We have the temperance. Person B has to go through some sort of healing because I feel like they don't want to put in the work, but they have to put in the work if they want anything out of this. Because with all this Wands energy, I'm literally just seeing it as very phallic. So like this person may just want to quite literally hit it and quit it, or they may just want something more physical, but maybe a little bit more consistent with the Seven of Pentacles. They might want something consistently physical. But they have some healing to do, and I'm not sure if they are actively working on it or if they are just aware and don't want to. Because next to the Seven of Pentacles reversed, it's like they know there's work to be done, but they don't want to do it. We have Divine Masculine, Emperor energy. There's definitely a counterpart energy, and I'll say something after I'm done reading pile B, because like I said, there is a reason you both came together. Queen of Cups. You know what breaks my heart about person B? I think they're trying. They're really trying, because the more they get to know person A, the more they adore them. The more they get to know person A, the more they realize that person A actually does do a lot for this connection. I think person A initially really reached out to them and wanted something. But the more they stayed in this connection, the more they felt that they couldn't be themselves, or that they had to stop being able to express a true form of themselves in order to appease person B. I don't think it's that person B falls in love with, though. I think person B really just falls for... How do I say this? I don't want to say that they fall for the person that person A... If you used to know each other from before, which I doubt because this feels like a new connection, I feel like person B would have fallen in love with the true version of person A. Or maybe they get to know the true version of person A as, you know, the more they get to know them, they get to see the true one. So they see through the Queen of Wands reversed. I feel like they want that Queen of Wands to, you know, upright herself. They see through the Empress reversed. They want that Empress to, again, meet up with this Emperor energy and reverse herself. They see this cup that is reversed, and they're like, why are you holding back? It's kind of like person B can see that person A has the energy of a wounded animal, and it's like, this isn't what you're meant to be. Person B sees person A, they see the struggles, and I feel like they even empathize with person A. So I feel like at first person B approaches this as like, sure, let's just keep it casual, let's just see where this goes. But then it's like the more time passes, the more they realize that person A is a very lovely person. I wonder if they get to know this through intimacy, like physical intimacy. Because sometimes this is like, how do I say this without getting 18 plus? There's a vulnerability there. It's like when you become vulnerable with each other, there is a sense of getting to know who the person really is. But by the time that they recognize who person A really is, I think person A is already in an energy of like, you know what, I kind of give up. You know, and it's very, it kind of makes me sad because, like, let's say person A starts here, person B starts here with the level of romantic interest. I feel like it easily, they like switch around, and then person A just ends up coming here for, like, you know, the companionship, the physical activity, if that's also what they want, and, you know, whatever's going on. Meanwhile, person B has fallen for person A, and person A no longer really, they no longer care. They're just like, you know, person A would be like, you're just around because you're around, like, we don't have to have anything. But person B is like smitten with person A. This is very much like star-crossed lovers, but in a different way. Like, it's not that they don't have enough time for each other, it's just that their emotions were very different from this, like, from the start they were different, and then by the end of this connection, or as this connection progresses, there is something here about recognizing within each other the things that they weren't capable of, or that they didn't realize were going on. Because person A definitely sees the potential in person B, but they may recognize that potential a little bit too late, to the point where they're like, I wish you had been this when we first started dating, as opposed to like, you know, towards the end. For a lot of you, I feel like this is going to be a connection that has phases. Like, if this is your first phase, then There could be a second phase. Like you could want to give it another try. Because like I said, that new love card made me think this is a new person. But for some of you, this could be like a new chapter within this particular connection. Back of the deck, we have, yeah, we have the Knight of Wands. I feel like this definitely, either it started off being something very casual where it was just, you know, a hookup or whatever it was. Or it ended up being that way, either or. It could be that one person here wanted it to be casual and the other one didn't. And then by the end of this connection, the roles reversed. One person was like, well, let's just keep it casual then. And the other person was like, but no, I really have feelings for you. I would like to take this further. Which is so interesting. I feel like this connection was more pivotal. It was more transformative for person B than anything. Because we have Temperance, which is balancing or healing. We have the Sun, we have the Emperor. And it's like this particular connection was meant to heal the masculine wound, but unfortunately, I feel like it came at the expense of the feminine, either the feminine wound or the feminine love here. So I guess you can decide who you are here. But this was meant to bring you both together in order to resolve something within relationships in general. I do feel that is the next step of this connection, is like, where do you go from here? Because I feel like you're either going through this already and you're aware of it, or you're wondering what your person is thinking. And depending on who you are, I feel like a lot of you will identify more with the reversed feminine, the reversed Empress card, and the reversed Queen of Wands card here. And even this reversed Ace of Cups. Maybe some of you are here because you're kind of done with this connection and you're like, well, what's next for it? Should I keep going, or should I just move on? I'll be honest, pile 4, your person, if they are person B, they've developed feelings for you. And either they are not saying this because they don't know what to do about it, or they may not be ready. Again, this Knight of Wands energy, you both are kind of just looking to, you know, for something casual to mess around or something. But let's go ahead and I want to see further steps in this connection. Maybe some advice for this connection as well, Spirit. We have Tower moment, divine intervention. We have the Tower. Something unexpected is going to come through. Justice, it could have something to do, if not legal, then it could have something to do like with I'm seeing the workplace, somebody needing help in a workplace situation, or somebody needing help, for example, with their car. Something where like, I said car or house, like something where somebody needs help with somebody. I feel like the universe is giving you both this Tower moment to see what you both are really capable of with each other. I'm being told to provide this example, so it's a personal example. I'm sorry if you don't like it, but when I was dating a particular guy, back before we became quote quote official, I had blown a tire, and it wasn't too far from where he lived, so I called him, and I was like, hey, my tire just blew out. Can you come and help me replace it? And of course, that was a test from the universe to see like if this guy would be there for me or not, and how they would handle tricky situations like that. And he handled it well, so we ended up dating. Like, I took that as a sign from the universe that, hey, this is a good one, he'll be there for you, and he knows how to handle things. So I feel like the universe may give you something similar. Hopefully it's nothing crazy. Hopefully it's nothing dangerous as well. I feel like it'll be something small, kind of like, you know, that tire popping, or maybe something around the house. Maybe like you need to move something in your living space. I feel like the universe is going to give you a test to see what this connection truly is. But I don't want you to fear it. I want you to understand that when it happens, it's to see whether you can be there for each other and how you both react to certain situations. Because justice makes me think of Ma'at, and Ma'at, she weighs the purity of hearts and souls on her scales. So it's quite literally, we're judging here what the purity of this connection is on both your parts. We also have the Page of Pentacles reversed. I feel like stability isn't something that can be achieved right now, but that doesn't mean that you can't work toward it. So this could have something to do with the building blocks of this connection, like we had in the oracles. We also have the Devil here. So it's called the Shadow here. I feel like you're going to have to overcome a particular shadow of each other. I'm not saying bad habits, because for a lot of you it's not actually bad habits. I think it's more your mentalities, either your negative or toxic mentalities about relationships or the opposite gender or whatever gender you're into in general. You're going to have to overcome the mentalities of dating and the mentalities of the negative mentalities of relationships, because not every relationship or even dating will be perfect. I'm sorry, you can't just run away from one red flag when that red flag could have been something very simple, or something that wasn't crazy. I think you need to reassess what your red flags are. For example, somebody being mean to a waiter, yes, big red flag, we don't want that. Somebody being a messy eater, we can work with that. We can teach them how to use the freaking napkin. It all depends here on what that situation is, because for a lot of you, you have a fear of intimacy for whatever that reason is. So that's something that's going to have to be overcome. And then we have the last one, the Two of Pentacles. There's going to be imbalances in this connection that have to be balanced. You're going to have to balance certain things out, which doesn't necessarily mean a compromise, but maybe for some of you it does, because back of the deck, yeah, we have the High Priestess reversed. There's a lot of energy being released in this connection and within this reading as well. It's very weird. But we have the High Priestess reversed. For some of you, you've been mistrusting or not listening to your intuition in regards to certain connections. And I feel like this connection, again, was meant to test your intuitive ability, because that came through in the oracles. We had the Loon with intuition. So I feel like for a lot of you, this will test your intuition. Or you'll have to reconnect with your intuition. Again, not saying that you have to accept this. I feel like just in order for this to grow, because it does seem that one person now wants something that the other one initially wanted, but now they're kind of indecisive about. You're going to have to trust your intuition, because where somebody here lacks decisiveness, somebody here has to make up for that with their intuitive ability. It's kind of like having to figure out what they want, which maybe some of you want this and some of you don't, but that's what's the next step in this connection is figuring out what you both want from each other. I also noticed I didn't get a floriography card for the both of you, so let me go ahead and get that card right now in our closing advice. And I'm not looking at these cards as I'm shuffling, so let's get a card. Oh, this is pretty. Cherry Blossom, I think. Yeah, Peace. Mostly, I'm just getting that you both want peace from this, whatever it is, whether you remain friends, whether you decide to continue dating, or if it's inner peace that you are both working on. Because I'm getting the sense that you're looking for peace in a connection, but what peace may mean to you may be different for your person. For some people, peace is being able to live comfortably with them. And for some people, peace is just being happy with where you are in a connection. Let's go ahead and get your quotes. I really hope this reading is providing some clarity, just because, like I said, there's indecisiveness here. But I do feel there is a want and or desire to be together, at least on one person's part. And the other person's desire may have waned, but they're having to wonder what they want now. We have soft hair and a velvet tongue. I want to give you what you give to me. And every breath that is in your lungs is a tiny little gift to me. This is the white stripes, dead leaves in the dirty ground. I like that song. That song, for whatever reason, as I'm reading this, it's making me think of like a pure, sweet love. Dead leaves in the dirty ground also make me think of the fall season. So the fall season could be of importance here for you. And there's something about, this is like, it makes me think of teenage love. And even regardless of your age, I feel like you both have that feeling with each other, that this is something new and sweet and that you like to enjoy each other's company. Like I said, this could be a connection where you initially just wanted it to be more physical than anything. And maybe you want to keep it that way. I think that's okay as well, pile 4, if you're not ready for something else. Love is the same as like, except you feel sexier. Judith Viorst, Love and Shrimp. Ooh, somebody here is wondering if this is love or not. Because it's like, well, isn't it the same as liking somebody, except there's a little bit more going on. I feel like you're both questioning what love is. And then let's get the love and relationships oracle. Affirmators cards for my pile 4. We have rest. I take a step away from my stress and then a deep breath and then a crankiness killing nap. When I get the rest I need, I instantly become a better version of myself, able to navigate complex relationships in a single bound. When I don't, I'm not, which means I shouldn't, but I try to and then we can't and it doesn't, but I did, so I wasn't, or it wasn't. 2 things. Either sleep on this, like definitely give yourself time to wonder what this connection is, and 2, have days where you're bored with each other. Have days where you are bored with each other to see what's going on. It could be possible that you two do spend a lot of, a night together or whatever, and this is like something that you look forward to. Or even the time you spend resting. I feel like there's something there about that. Let's go ahead and get your last card. We have maturity. I make peace with the tough relationships of my past. I probably would have skipped the pain they came with, but I'm grateful for the lessons that they brought me. Because of those tough relationships, I can look back at the mosaic of my life and see value in even the most broken pieces. I really do like this, though, because there is a sense of maturing within this connection, either for you and or your person. And if this was a connection where like you had more than one phase of it, there's like growth and development there. But there's also something here that even if this connection didn't work out, even whatever immaturity you encountered here, you're going to be grateful for it in the long run because it will have taught you something. But this is where I leave it, pile 4. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you feel like doing so, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next reading. Take care.